Nigel Farage unveils how his party would end the small boats crisis.
After GB News exclusively reveals that 900 migrants illegally crossed the Channel over the bank holiday weekend.
So does Reform UK's plans of mass deportations stack up? Or is Labour getting a grip on Britain's migrant crisis?
Have you noticed a hike in supermarket prices this summer? Well, you're not alone, because food inflation has peaked as families feel the pinch at the checkout.
Is Britain still equipped to roll out electric cars? We're debating that as drivers complain of wait times just to access charging points at petrol stations.
The Duchess of Sussex's latest Netflix show is going to be released this morning, but will Prince Harry make an appearance?
Of these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
Well, that looks riveting, doesn't it? And in sport this morning, Liverpool beat Newcastle in a pulsating game at St James's Park. Jack Draper is through to the second round of the US Open after being sick on court again. And could it be the worst game they could hope for, or maybe the best, as beleaguered Sheffield Wednesday take on Leeds in the Carabao Cup tonight?
It's turning more changeable this week with rain or heavy showers, but not for everyone. I'll have all the details coming up shortly.
Hello there, it's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, nice to see you, nice to have you on board, nice to have you watching and listening. And it was a heck of a weekend of sport, it has to be said. And what about that guy in the tennis who took his defeat out on his racket and busted?
Yeah, we'll you know what, we'll do that a bit later again, because we did it, didn't we, yesterday morning, pretty much straight after it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me.
It's not good.
It just... your tempers. And he even said afterwards, and I held back, because he was screaming at the umpire, and it was all because a photographer ran on the court. Oh, for Christ.
What is it about tennis where you just
What
have
is it
such
about
a temper?
photographers?
Yes.
The tempers, though, on tennis players is bad.
See, it's because everything is focused around them.
Yeah.
They're not a team sport. They've got their team. Everything's about them. I just think umpires should either tell them, why don't you just shut up? Just sit down and
took the words
shut
out
up.
of my mouth, mate.
Yeah.
More people should be saying to other people, just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Who do you think you are? Less of this, sit down, play your tennis and shut your mouth.
up.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah.
Now, another thing we're going to be talking about today, and I'd like to say, shut up, is Meghan Markle's blooming cookery show, whatever it is.
Season 2.
I don't care less.
We'd love Meghan.
But would you watch it?
Now, I'll tell you why I would watch it, is because I have seen she's making a nice lobster pasta, and I like a nice lobster pasta.
But
So I would tune in for that.
I know you. You'll be looking around her kitchen and see what she's got.
It's not
there,
even her
what she's
kitchen.
wearing, or...
It's not her kitchen.
I like lobster pasta. It's going to put me off lobster pasta.
Oh, no. Well, I think some people will watch it, won't they?
Anyway.
But she's Marmite.
Anyway, we've got lots of Marmite on the show today for you to love or hate. And our main news this morning is that Nigel Farage is going to pledge today to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, repeal the Human Rights Act, and scrap anything acting as a roadblock to throwing people out of the country for deportations.
Well, it's part of Reform UK's plan to tackle the small boats crisis. It comes just hours after GB News exclusively revealed that almost 900 people crossed the Channel over the bank holiday weekend.
Well, let's get the take from political commentator Piers Bollinger. Piers, honestly, it seems to me as if Farage is speaking a language that people want to hear.
Yes, absolutely. And it's no ifs, no buts. It is radical. It's absolutely crystal clear what he's going to do. Now, there are questions about the new British rights bill he's thinking of bringing in. This isn't a new idea. Dominic Raab tried it and failed to bring it in because of technical legal issues. And there's no doubt that there are one or two aspects of what Nigel Farage is talking about that needs clarification and also need work on to make sure it doesn't immediately come up against other legal hurdles. However, basically, he is saying what the bulk of the majority of the electorate want to see, and that's no nonsense and stopping this once and for all. Britain is full. It's full to the brim, and this is the only way to sort out the problem.
But the way, surely, of stopping this and getting in the way of his plans is the lawyers.
Yes.
What is he going to do about the lawyers?
Well, that's a good question. And I think he will say today, because he's hinted at it already, that he's taking every kind of legal advice he can to make sure that the way they structure this is watertight. And once it's passed by Parliament, it becomes law and therefore can't be tinkered with. Coming out of the European Human Rights Court is, I think, essential. The Conservatives have now admitted they're going to come out.
Well, not officially, but
they're probably. I mean, they haven't admitted anything yet because they're still doing a policy review a year after the election. It would help the Conservatives a lot in the polls if they came up with some policies.
But Piers, that leaves a distinct difference then with Sir Keir Starmer. Because he looks as though, as a lawyer himself, he looks as though he is on the side of the lawyers and not the people.
Well, yes, and now what is his latest plan is yet another kicking it into touch by setting up what he calls an independent commission. I don't know how it can be independent if the government's paying these people, but an independent commission to decide who should be sent home or deported back or sent away, and they are going to decide that as opposed to the courts. And apparently that's going to speed things up. But yet again, this is going to cost a huge amount of money. We've no idea who's going to be on this independent commission. Probably judges.
When they say yes to somebody, when they say, yeah, OK, you can stay, what does that mean? That this person and their family then have a right to be in Britain, that they're paid for, that they're set up, that they're given a house, that they're... Is that what it involves? Cost all the time?
Absolutely. I mean, once they become British citizens, or they earn the right to be British citizens, they're entitled to all these benefits. And even before that, they get a lot of benefits. And I mean, the point is the welfare system, the education system, and the NHS are at breaking point because, to a large degree, of this absurd level of immigration we've now got. As I said, Britain is full. We can't cope with it.
It's interesting, though, the pressure inside Labour and the pressure on Keir Starmer. We had Lord Blunkett yesterday talking about suspending the ECHR. We've got Labour MPs talking about leaving the ECHR. I mean, is this just the direction of movement that we're heading in?
Well,
I
think
parties are going to have to consider this.
I mean, Lord Blunkett seems to be speaking common sense. And I think it's the penny is finally dropped, even with Labour MPs. And many backbenchers are now realise, because their constituents are telling them in droves, this is the #1 issue in politics in this country. There's no question about it. And Farage is the only man, and the Reform the only party, who are talking about doing things that the electorate really want.
He's changed his tune, though, hasn't he, Nigel Farage? Because just last year, this is September 2024, he said it's not his ambition to deport large numbers of people. This direct quote, "It's pointless even going there. It's a political impossibility. We simply can't do it."
No.
So what's changed in the past year?
Well, I think that the hard facts and reality, and when you see people do talk about civil unrest, and that's a very dangerous thing to start talking about, because merely talking about it provokes it. But there's no question, when you see the kind of demonstrations going on around the immigrant hotels, that we are on the cusp of some very, very serious unrest in this country. And that has, I think, the major change. There is no question people are very angry, and justifiably so. Because
and today, Farage will say, just in contrast to what that quote was you had, Ellie, he said the estimated population of people with no lawful right to remain in the UK now almost certainly stands above 1 million.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we can't keep taking people like this. We're a small island. We're already a very crowded island. All our public services are at breaking point or indeed broken. We simply cannot afford to do it.
OK. Piers, please come back
I will.
At 7 o'clock and we'll talk to you again. If you have anything to say about what Piers has mentioned, your views on the migration situation, your views on what Nigel Farage will have to say today and what he is advocating today. And we think it's going to be camps, military camps, where he would put the migrants instead of, say, hotels, for instance, or flats and apartments and things like that. Have your say. Please do get in touch and have your say, and we'll reflect that.
Yep, gbnews.com/your say. You are watching GB News Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie. It's time now for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, my name is Johnny Dade and I'm a vicar in the Church of England. It was back in 2002 that the then US Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, gave a press briefing on American intelligence where he sort of appeared to baffle journalists with a long speech about known knowns and known unknowns and unknown unknowns, by which point I think most people had a sore head. But how do we know stuff? This is a question that intrigues philosophers, but it is also a matter of real life. We live in an age where knowledge and truth are contested. We have access to more knowledge than ever before, yet we seem to have less clarity. We've gained many perspectives, but so often lost insight. So the Bible lists knowledge, or words of knowledge, as a spiritual gift, a supernatural impartation from God's Holy Spirit. In the biblical tradition, knowledge is not primarily about the acquisition of information or the honing of intellect. Knowledge is not a matter of pride to puff us up, nor a weapon to beat others with. Rather, it's a gift. It's an extension of God's grace. Now, we might begin by humbly acknowledging that we don't know it all, and instead seek God's grace-filled insight that brings clarity amongst the noise and the hubris of this world.
Here's an interesting thing I'm reading this morning. Rio Ferdinand and his wife Kate have now relocated to Dubai, to live in Dubai and start a new life in Dubai. And they're not the first couple that I've heard that are doing that.
Lots of Brits are doing so, aren't they?
Yeah. It would be the temperature outside would be the thing about me. Inside, everywhere would be aircon, but it's moving between buildings. But it's interesting. I mean, we see a picture of this is in the sun.
Very glamorous.
They're looking very good wherever they are, and well, you can understand all the good things. And of course, him being a football commentator, they do a lot of football programs from the Middle East, and
that's true.
He won't be short of workers. So
I think his sons are getting into football as well, aren't they? There's lots of football now in the Middle East.
Can we do a GB News from the Middle East?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yes, presented
Maybe
by
we should
Eamonn
just
and
head
Ellie.
out there. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's where all the Brits are going.
That's what we need to do.
We'll be in the sunshine all year round. I think it's a very good idea.
Very good idea.
We'll pitch it to the bosses.
Yesterday was a good idea because the the bank holiday, the weather was excellent.
Stunning. Did you get to enjoy it?
No.
Oh.
Sure, I had nobody to take me out. Nobody to just sit in the house.
Oh, you should have come to mine.
Flap doesn't matter. I can't go anywhere.
I
Can't do anything.
I made a roast dinner.
Can't get out to the car. No one cares. They just leave me to rot like a vegetable.
I would have come. You could have come to mine. I made a roast dinner. Chicken. You would have liked it. And sausage stuffing.
And did you do, what sort of potatoes did you do?
Roasties.
Perfect.
And they were good, actually.
Nothing to argue about.
I'm not going to lie to you. And I did garlic green veggies.
Well, I think we'll get up to date with some other stories coming into the newsroom on this Tuesday morning. 6:15 is the time.
And an Ethiopian national seeking asylum in the UK is set to appear in court today. Hardush Kabatu is charged with 3 counts of sexual violence, harassment and inciting a girl to engage in sexual activity. He was living in the Bell Hotel in Epping at the time of the alleged crimes.
2 people have been stabbed at this year's Notting Hill Carnival as police make a total of 423 arrests. The Metropolitan Police have said neither stabbings resulted in life-threatening injuries. It marks the highest number of arrests in 6 years.
3 people have died and a 4th person remains in hospital in a serious condition following a helicopter crash during a flying lesson on the Isle of Wight yesterday. Hampshire Police say they are continuing to work alongside the Air Accident Investigation Branch to establish exactly what happened.
So it was a glorious picture yesterday. We're going to go to Catherine Chalk now to see, Catherine, if it will be repeated today. Good morning.
No.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Still to come on the programme this morning. Up next, we'll find out about the record that Liverpool player set last night.
Yeah, this is GB News Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Love these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
It makes me hungry.
Well, I'll tell you, I have a complaint. I have a complaint to make,
Right,
and
go
that
on.
is, you switch on the TV on a Saturday or Sunday, and what do you get?
Quiz shows.
Cooking shows.
Cooking
on
shows.
BBC Two, on Channel 4, on ITV, and you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Cooking on that side, James Martin cooking on that side, somebody, I don't know what, just horrendous. It used to be Saturdays were kids' programmes in the morning, but now it has to be cooking. And who gives a rat's ass?
I mean,
who cares?
I really like cooking, but I can see why that bothers other people. And that's why on a Saturday you can watch Saturday Morning Live on GB News.
Yeah.
Because there's no cooking in sight.
Yeah, because there's no choice.
That's a good alternative.
There's no choice on the main channels. Paul?
I miss Swap Shop.
Yeah.
And it was... But it is. Why is everything cooking? Everything is cooking.
Cooking.
They must think that's what people want to do at the weekends.
No, it's lazy schedulers. It's like they stick on. It's like that pointless, the worst quiz on the history of television.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Let's give me the wrong answer to this. You know, and it goes on for years and years and years. And you get, and then you have won £32.70. Well done. You take home the Star Prize today.
So you're not going to be doing the Celebrity versus Pointless then?
I've done it. It's rubbish.
Oh, have you done that one?
What?
Have you done Pointless?
Yeah. I was.
Don't tell me. You didn't do very
well. I think I
well.
did it with Charlotte Hawkins, and she talked me into, please do it.
Yeah.
And I said, right, okay. Went on. Worst mistake. It's boring as well.
Oh,
did you get knocked out in the first round?
Probably.
You know what? I'm just trying to find out why you didn't like it.
I just don't like it. It's too long and it's too boring. And
it's pointless.
It's pointless.
There
It is
you go.
absolutely pointless.
The irony.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Coity, let's have a look at the sport, shall we? Liverpool beat Newcastle.
I tell you what, it was. They always have amazing games, don't they? Newcastle and Liverpool over the years.
They're billed as big games.
Yeah,
a lot of scores.
And it was. And so Liverpool, they score early against the run of play.
Yeah.
Then Anthony Gordon gets sent off because he runs his foot down the back of Virgil van Dijk's calf. Look nasty.
Well,
so
that makes him a change as opposed to Van Dijk running his foot down somebody.
So the thing is, it was given a yellow card, and then they did the VAR thing, and there was no doubt. So he was sent off. Then Liverpool score again, so they're 2 up. And this is usually the time for me, and I'm like, you know, I've got to get up at 3. It's done. It's done and dusted. But whenever I do that, I always end up missing out because Newcastle, although they were down to 10 men, it was real Route 1 stuff. It wasn't pretty football, but they get a goal. Then they get another goal, and so it's 2-2. So this is in the 88th minute. And then, as I know you like injury time, There were 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes added on.
No, that's a bore. That's as boring as cooking programmes.
It's not quite as boring as cooking programmes, but even so, Rio Ngumoa, he's 16. This is him. He's a kid. He's 16 years old.
Yeah.
The youngest goal scorer. The ball comes out to him. And talk about pressure. I don't know whether it's... When people say when you're young, you don't feel the pressure, you just go out and enjoy it.
And then there are those who will say the opposite.
I agree, yeah.
You know,
who could
I just believe if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, you know, I look at Man United and it's like, oh, well, they're too young. They're too young to play. We need seasoned people. They're too young.
Yeah.
And, you know, Hansen said you win nothing with kids, and yet United did.
Busby Babes.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we know all very sadly, but they were kids.
That fella who played for Arsenal on Saturday.
Yeah, well, this is Max Dowman.
Yeah.
He's 15.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, are kids bigger and stronger than they used to be when I was at school?
Probably, and they probably just don't feel the fear. They probably just think, I can kick this ball. They have skills that, you know, we couldn't dream of.
Yeah.
I look when I was a youngster and, you know, you tried to emulate somebody like George Best, which you couldn't do. But then you pick... It was far more conservative in those days, but it was more entertaining.
You know what I've noticed, though, about young people these days? And this is where you've got a 15-year-old playing for Arsenal, you've got a 16-year-old, and there's a lot of youngsters that are playing in the Premier League, is that kids now, if you think of when you're like 15 or 16, you wanted to go out, you drink beer, you want your girls, beer, fun, all this sort of stuff. That was my life, and that's why I never made it. but the thing is that, and it was a friend of mine that noticed this more than anything else, and I think his daughter had a 17th birthday party, or 18th birthday party, and he thought, all right, there was lots of people coming, get lots of beers. Anyway, the boys are going in there, they're going, I can't drink that. The calories in that. Have you got any energy drinks?
They're health conscious now.
And they're so health conscious. So maybe this is something to do with the reason there's so many young players.
They don't drink, do they?
They don't, yeah.
You don't drink. You could have been a pro footballer.
Yeah, there you go.
Before your time.
Look at how boring I am.
And there we are. And that's where the similarities end. But anyway, it was a terrific game.
So Liverpool
came through. 3-2.
And, you know, on that basis, I mean, Arsenal looked threatening against Leeds, that sort of 5-0 win on Saturday.
They are looking very good.
But Liverpool are still my favourites for the title again.
See, I'm edging towards Arsenal now.
Can you call it that early?
Well, look, I went to see Man United on Sunday against Fulham. They're not going to win it, I'll tell you that. So neither of those two teams.
But I tell you what I do want to mention, this Alexander Isak thing, because we've only got a week...
Oh, yeah, where was he last night?
Well, nobody knows where he was. He's got... So, I mean, talk about the game that you don't want to be anywhere near. Yeah. Liverpool want him. Newcastle want him as well, but he doesn't want to stay at Newcastle. Eddie Howe was... I mean, I feel sorry for Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
Eddie Howe, the manager, is asked constantly... Look, just have a look at this. I've got something here, and this is the press conference afterwards, and more or less, instead of the game, every question was about Alexander Isak, and this is how Eddie Howe answered the questions. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, but I've not been party to talks on this for a long time now, so I've been preparing the team, giving all my energy to the players that want to play for Newcastle. I think that's where my energy is best put at the moment. Yeah, as I say, I'm not party to the talks that have been happening, so I've got no idea where that stands right this second. Yes, you're right, he's the owner, he's the most important person in terms of directing which decisions we make. But as I said, I'm not party to any conversations that have happened today, so I've got no idea what direction that's in.
Isn't it strange that the manager isn't party to any of the discussions? It's quite sad.
Do you think that's true, or is that the easiest? See, he can't go out there and say,
I think
I've been
that's
speaking
true.
to him.
I think that's true. I think it's between the executives and his agents and whatever, and it's now gone beyond him.
It's ridiculous. And this is a player... This game was crying out for him to play him for Newcastle, and probably Liverpool felt the same. 150 million quid Newcastle want. Liverpool offered 110. He's refusing to play, and it's just a ridiculous...
Well, we're getting very close to the end of the transfer window, so...
Yeah.
So
I think he's going to go to Manchester United. I think that's the answer. So we'll see. But anyway, there's tennis going. I don't know whether you want to do that now.
Did you say Jack Draper was sick again?
Yeah, again.
So what's going on there?
Well, it was in the semi-finals of the US Open last year, and he got very hot, and he was being sick on the court, quite frankly. And it's almost like he's party piece now at
just to chuck up
over in New York. But yeah, he was, but he's not fully fit. I mean, he managed to beat Federico Augustin of Argentina in 4 sets. He is struggling a little bit. Let's hear how he says. We could hear from Jack Draper afterwards, and he did wipe his mouth, so everything's fine.
You know, with the injury I had in my arm, the return to competition is probably about 8 weeks. You know, I'm here 7 weeks, so I'm early. And you know, in any rehab process, there's always you know, there's good days and then there's bad days. There's days where you're like really pumped because you think you're on a good path, and then there's days where you kind of have setbacks and you think, oh, like I might not be able to do it.
Again, very much like me, good days, bad days, when I'm really pumped.
Yeah.
I just got to let you know I'm really, really pumped today.
OK, good to hear, good to hear. Sheffield Wednesday against Leeds tonight. We're going to be talking about that when Paul's back at 7:20. Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Now, it's the final week to see how you could live the next year mortgage or rent-free with an additional £5,000 in your bank account. And if you're one of those lucky people that doesn't have to make those sorts of payments each month, you could end up with £15,000 in tax-free cash. So there is something for everyone, isn't there?
And here's how you could win it.
There's just 3 days to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Hurry, lines close this Friday. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
And that leaves us with the traffic and travel and how it may affect you. Let's have a look.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 is closed between Ardmillan Castle and the A714 Shallock Park roundabout due to overnight roadworks. Motorists should follow the sign diversion. In Cambridgeshire, the M11 southbound entry slip at junction 12 is closed following a vehicle crossing the central reservation. A broken down vehicle on the M23 southbound exit slip at junction 9 in West Sussex is causing one of 2 lanes to close. And on the trains, Great Western Railway services are disrupted between Bridgend and Cardiff Central. Northern buses are replacing trains between Sellafield and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
OK, up next, reports that children as young as 10 could put on or be put on weight loss drugs.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing that and much more with Suzanne Evans and Scarlett Maguire. That's next.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference
It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
And now we get to the time of the day where we go through the papers, what's making the news and who's commentating on it today. Political commentator Suzanne Evans and former Labour advisor Scarlett Maguire. Lovely to see both of you. And a big day today, Suzanne, in terms of Nigel Farage and Reform UK. He has got big plans for mass deportations, migrants out of this country. What are you thinking about what's being previewed?
So basically, he's launching what he calls Operation Restoring Justice, which is to basically literally deport illegal migrants in Britain. It's that simple.
Well, can it be done? Is it that simple?
This is what he says it can be done. He says he's going to withdraw from the European Court of Human Rights. He's going to bring in a new Illegal Immigration Act to make it possible and put the onus on the Home Secretary to make sure these deportations happen. And in fact, if the Home Secretary fails in making it happen, then it will technically be a breach of the law. He's also cracking down on asylum claims. He's saying if you come to this country illegally, you will not have asylum. End of story. And if you arrive in this country legally, you'll be put into a secure site. He's suggesting on military bases, saying that he will want to house 24,000 migrants within the first 18 months of a reform government. Now, this is a massive shift for Nigel Farage. He used to be very much against deportations. And I think this, but he is also a man, I think, who's also very often in touch with what the majority of people are thinking. And so this shift for him, I think, also represents a shift for the whole country, that people are fed up of this. They've had enough of it. This year so far, we've had 28,300 people come across in boats, a 43% increase on the same time last year. And clearly, whether you support the Labour government or not, they have lost control of this issue. They have not smashed those gangs. Those gangs are operating with impunity, and the boats are not going to stop. Farage has been very straightforward. He writes today, he says, the time has come to put this country first. This is a question of priorities. Is Keir Starmer on the side of the British people, national security and protecting women and girls, or is he on the side of outdated international treaties and human rights lawyers? He's drawing this red line in the sand. He will be different.
He estimates now there's a population of about 1 million people with no lawful right to remain in the UK. Scarlett.
I can't see how this can work. I mean, so obviously, what should have happened is that the Labour government should have come in, known what the problem was, right, and
they've had 14 years to think about it.
And on day one, what they should have said is, right, we're going to double or treble the number of people who are sorting out claims, and we're going to be really tough on them, right? And the people who are not given asylum, we're going to send them straight back. And instead, we've still got the backlog. They have, I mean, they have increased it. But actually, the point is that Yvette knew what the problem was, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary. She could see it. And the biggest problem, the reason there are so many people in hotels is they're waiting for their claims to go. It takes 2 or 3 years for a claim to go through. So
But they're setting up these new panels, aren't they, to deal with this?
Yeah, but this is a year on. This is what they should have done absolutely immediately. We knew that this was a problem. I don't know how many times I've been on your programme talking about asylum backlog. Now, what Nigel Farage calls illegal migrants. The problem is there is no legal way of claiming asylum in this country.
That absolutely isn't true, Scarlett. There are hundreds of people who come here through safe and legal routes every year.
They are
the most obvious example that we all know about is Ukraine. There was a system put in place very quickly.
Yeah, and Afghanistan...
It's a left-wing soundbite to say there are no
Suzanne, this is absolutely... No. So there is Ukraine, right?
And Afghanistan.
No, Afghanistan actually was one of the great failures. And what the problem is there are people who are being deported from Pakistan because they're trying to get into Britain, because they're trying to find a legal route. I mean, you know, if you look at where the migrants are coming from, they're coming from Afghanistan because there isn't a legal route. So if you're Ukrainian, you're fine. If you're not, it is incredibly difficult to come here. So hold on.
So what are we supposed to do? Take the whole world in?
Just a minute. I began by saying we should be doing it properly. Of course, we shouldn't be taking the whole world in. I mean, actually, France takes many, many more. Germany takes many, many more. The thing is, it's a European problem that Europe has to deal with. It's fine for us to say, oh, no, we won't take any boats. We won't take any boats. But actually, all you're doing is you're giving them back to France. It's a European problem. We need to deal with it properly. And there is absolutely no question that what are we really saying is we're not going to take refugees. And over half the people who come in and claim asylum come in, they fly. Right, this isn't just a small boats problem.
Well, ladies, I wanted to get your thoughts because I was struck by these images this morning on 2 of the right-leaning papers, it must be said, The Times and the Daily Telegraph. Thanks, Eamonn. This morning, not only showing these small boat migrants making crossings across the English Channel yesterday, but they've decided to put pictures of children on their front page. And not only children, little girls dressed in pink. Now, it may just be a coincidence. What do you think of this, Suzanne? Does this change the narrative for you when you see children, little girls,
I don't think it does. What it says
Britain?
To me, actually, and this might sound terribly cynical, but it says to me, oh, someone's found a picture of a child or a woman. Oh, let's use that. That looks a bit different, because that's what the media is all about. That's what photography is all about. It's not about the same old. It's about finding something different. And the facts remain. The vast majority of people coming across on boats, 90% of them are male.
Okay. Scarlett, does it change it for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to understand that of course, Suzanne is right. 90% are male. I mean, I don't think... But actually, there are children on these boats. Can you imagine being a parent, putting your child onto that boat? I mean, what we always forget is the desperation of these people. And, I mean, friends of mine who've worked in Calais say it is amazing. I mean, we are surprised at how, for them, coming to Britain is the way...
Yeah.
The thing...
Okay.
Sorry, I think any parent that's in safe France and puts their kid on a boat is a terrible parent.
OK.
Sorry, I think I do.
Got to leave it there. We're going to take a short break. Up next, guess which former England footballer has made a move to Dubai? That's where he's migrating to.
Well, I've already put up a picture there for you. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. Well, there's plenty of sunny spells across Europe, but also some widespread thunderstorms developing. So across much of Madeira and the Canary Islands, a few showers here and breezy. Across Spain, fine with plenty of sunshine. But here are those thunderstorms with the risk of hail and lightning. Across Greece, much of the country seeing plenty of sunshine here. And as we go through the week, there'll still be some showers around, but also plenty of sunshine still, and temperatures up to 33.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Working class pupils being left behind, being written off.
Well, as one of those white working class boys when I was younger, many moons ago, I would have to agree with her. I think it's definitely something that for years has been very obvious in the data, and it hasn't been addressed, and the gap has not been yet bridged. So I can't disagree with her, although I don't fully agree with her approach or lack of what that approach is at the moment.
Well, yeah, should there be special programmes for white working class kids? I mean, you do see a lot of special programmes for ethnic minority kids, for girls too.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't about identity politics. This is really about a disadvantaged group of people in our society. If we fail them, we fail everyone else, we fail Britain. I think we can't ignore white working class pupils just because they're white. They're disadvantaged. If they're disadvantaged, like any other disadvantaged group we've looked at, we've raised the bar with any other group. We've made sure that we've invested the right systems and processes in place, and we've seen the impact of that. Just look at London, where I've worked for the last 15 years or so. London has proven a blueprint where we can do this with disadvantaged students. So we need to roll that out to other places in the coastal towns, in the post-industrial towns in the UK.
Now, what did London do differently? Obviously, the London Challenge, there was a heap of money.
Funding, I don't think, is the main problem. If you think about the national funding formula, London turned around itself with the same national funding formula as other parts of the UK. It was the leadership, it was the expectations, the teaching quality that made the difference. And if you are going to put money anywhere, it should really probably go in attracting the best teachers into those places.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Now, all the complaints there is about taxes, increased taxes, and politicians can't think of any way of raising money except to tax all of us into the ground. But here's a way: fracking. And why don't we do it? It's an obvious way to gain money for the country, for all of us, all the problems that we're facing, and it just depends where you do it, I suppose. Suzanne, this is in the Mail today. Frack, baby, frack.
Yeah, this is another election policy from Reform UK. It's long been Reform UK, Brexit Party, UKIP before it, all supported fracking. And certainly UKIP used to have a policy that we should start fracking and use the income from it to set up a sovereign wealth fund, as Norway did with its natural gas and oil reserves, and did very well. I mean, Norway's a very wealthy country as a result of this, but of course we won't do it in this country. And as a consequence, consequence, we're having to import a lot of energy. Energy prices are very, very high.
And we're all getting taxed.
For many people, it does seem like a no-brainer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
so why is fracking banned? Because it was banned by the Tories, right, not by a Labour government. And it was banned because people are worried about it. I mean...
Yeah, people are worried about it. That doesn't make people right. No. I mean, I read this nonsense that it's going to cause earthquakes and all sorts of stupid...
Well, the local people in around Blackpool, where there was fracking, were very, very frightened and wanted it stopped. Nowhere has there been fracking without local people.
Do it out in the North Sea or the Irish Sea or something like that.
In America, they do it in America, and there's no... Well, they have earthquakes in America, obviously, but I don't believe...
Yeah, and obviously in America it's fine, and it's a big enough country that you can't go... But wherever fracking is talked about, the local population do not want it. So it's absolutely fine. They absolutely. I mean, and actually, you talk about a sovereign wealth fund. Yeah, it was a real missed opportunity when we had North Sea gas. And you're right. You go to Norway, and it is a rich country, and people are. I mean, a friend of mine lost her husband. He died. I mean, she had a year of being a widow, right, with proper benefits. I mean, it is incredible how well off Norway is and how they look after their people.
Why can't we do it? Are we going to listen to a lot of people who think it's going to...
No, Norway didn't do it through fracking. What they did was when they had North Sea oil, right, they gave it to the people. We just let it all go. We didn't make any money out of North Sea oil.
I just think, Suzanne, politicians are completely devoid of ways of generating money. They have no idea of how to create wealth, and then they think tax, tax, tax. That's all we get.
And this is definitely the case of a Labour government, I think. I mean, Rachel Rees came into office talking about growth. We've seen growth completely stymie. We're heading for stagflation now is what we've got, not growth at all. And all they seem to think about for raising money is tax, tax, tax. And it's completely counterproductive. And eventually the camel's back is going to break, and we're not going to be able to pay any more tax. There's a limit to how much working people can pay. All this huge amounts of government spending, mostly on welfare and benefits. People who've never worked in their life.
Scarlett, let's have a look at something else, shall we, in the Daily Mail. This is page 9 this morning. Children as young as 10 being put on fat jabs. What do you make of this?
There are very, very few. I mean, I think we have to say that is that obviously, what you want to do with children is you want to put them on a decent diet. You want to make sure they're eating decent food, that they're not having junk food, they're not having sugar, they're not having cans of Coke and things like that. But what happens when you have a morbidly obese? Apparently there are very few 10-year-olds. There are a few 12s. We're talking mostly about teenagers. What do you do? I mean, what one hopes is that actually you begin much, much younger, and you sort out the diet rather than wait. By the time they're 11, 12, and they've got a really bad eating habit. If you see a very, very fat child, you just want to cry because that's their lives are ruined. I mean, fat people are not happy.
No, I think that's true. But this absolutely appalls me. We have no idea what the long-term impact of these fat jabs is going to be. We've already now started to see that there are very, very serious side effects, reports of blindness, heart disease, kidney disease, far, far worse. I wouldn't put my child on it, I'll tell you that now. I just think it would be a completely irresponsible thing to do as a parent, simply because we don't know the long-term implications. And my worry, too, is children who are morbidly obese need a lot of mental health help as well. The fat is not always on the body, it starts in the head.
OK, Suzanne, thank you. Scarlett, thank you very much indeed. Very interesting discussions there. And the guys are going to be back in about 40 minutes' time.
Yeah, let us know what you think on any of those stories. gbnews.com/you'll say. Now let's get a check on the weather with Catherine Chalk, because it was a lovely day yesterday. Will it last today?
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Road users on the M4 westbound at junction 40, tieback should note electrical work surveys, causing exit slip road closure with diversions. In Cambridgeshire, a vehicle crossing the M11 southbound at junction 12 has shut all lanes, expected to resolve by 9:45. The A9 at Thatcher faces longer journey times due to emergency roadworks with temporary traffic lights. And on the trains, Great Western Railway faces disruptions between Bridgend and Cardiff Central. Northern buses replace trains between Sellafield and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Good morning. Nigel Farage unveils how his party would end the small boats crisis.
After GB News exclusively reveals 900 migrants illegally crossed the Channel over the bank holiday weekend.
So, do Reform UK's plans on mass deportations stack up? Or is Labour getting a grip on Britain's migrant crisis?
Have you noticed a hike in your supermarket bills this summer? Food inflation has peaked as families feel the pinch at the checkout.
Should we stop the rollout of electric cars? We're going to be debating that at 8:20 this morning after drivers complained of a problem with charging points.
Meghan Markle's latest Netflix show will be released this morning. But will Prince Harry make an appearance? And who cares?
Love these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
And in sport this morning, Liverpool beat 10-man Newcastle with a last-minute goal from a 16-year-old. Jack Draper and Cam Norrie go through to the next round of the US Open, as does Carlos Alcaraz with a radical new haircut and 19 Carabao Cup matches tonight, including a big Yorkshire derby at Hillsborough.
It's turning more changeable this week with rain or heavy showers, but not for everyone. I'll have all the details coming up shortly.
Boffins are on the verge of cracking human time travel after sending particles back to the past. This happened in Australia.
Oh, right. It's always boffins, isn't it?
Well, so it's always time travel. Where would you like to go back to?
Victorian England, I think, would be really fun. The fashion.
I'll have a think about that.
Have a think.
Yes.
However you're watching, however you're listening, a very good morning to you. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. If you could time travel anywhere, where would you go back to?
Good question.
I'd go back to the 1800s and to be a cowboy in America.
Yeah.
Would you?
I could have guessed you'd have said.
I would maybe go back to the 1800s, but have a very tall hat.
Yeah.
And a dog and lots of fog.
A rifle and a gun.
And all that. You know what? When I used to be a tour guide years ago, London buses, and everybody always used to say, hey, guy, where's the fog? Where's the fog? They always imagine, and it was, I don't think it's probably different now, but back in the day that Americans were coming over, these tourists, they imagined that we all...
It was like Jack the Ripper.
Yes, it was top hats.
Smoke.
They actually really thought it was going to be like that.
Yeah, it is still very grey.
But I say to you, in the 1960s, certainly, up until the 1960s, a lot of gentlemen wore bowler hats around London.
Yes, that's
going
true.
to work in the city.
Yeah.
And that was, like, common.
Yeah.
And then, no, it's not. No one wears a hat now.
I think the 80s was the last. It was just at the around early 80s were the last of the bowler hats, and now you don't see. Can you imagine? Oh, the great thing.
The only hats you see now are like caps.
Yeah, baseball hats,
Baseball
caps and stuff like that.
Which I don't love.
But you bought 2 top hats, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
They look very nice.
A grey one and a black one.
I love it when Eamonn's going to be annoyed at me for saying this, but I love the fact when Eamon's gone, yeah, I tried the grey one. I thought, I'll have another one. So you bought 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought 2. I couldn't make up my mind whether to wear grey or whether to wear black.
Yeah.
And if you can get, if you've got an honour from the palace,
which he does.
Yes, of course.
You're supposed to wear a grey hat.
Oh, are you?
I didn't know
Horse
that.
racing, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which shows you're better than everybody else.
Oh, I see.
But I got a bit embarrassed about that, and I thought I could wear a black one as well.
So treat yourself.
Did you take both with you?
I could wear on different days. I could wear different colour hats. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're, part of the Queen's consortium at Ascot, for instance.
Whereas the Abraham Lincoln was a stovepipe, right? So that's so it's a top hat, but it's even taller. Is that right?
Yeah.
I like a hat, but I just don't think I'd ever get away with it.
A top hat, I think, is
I do have, you know, I do have quite a lot of hats at home. I've got an American GI helmet. I've got various cowboy hats.
You've got cowboy hats, yeah.
Yeah, various ones there. And I mean, genuinely, I think if I could wear an outfit, it would be a suit, shirt and tie, and a Stetson.
So you need to move to Texas.
Dallas.
You'd look like
Dallas.
JR, wouldn't you? And cowboy boots with slacks.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that.
I think it would be a great look. You can wear it tomorrow if you like.
But anyway, good morning to you, whether you're hat or hatless this morning. Main news this morning, Nigel Farage pledging to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, repeal the Human Rights Act and scrap anything acting as a roadblock to deportations.
Well, that's as part of Reform UK's plan to tackle the small boats crisis. It comes just hours after GB News exclusively revealed that almost 900 migrants crossed the Channel over the bank holiday weekend.
Well, let's get the take of political commentator Piers Pottinger on this one. Piers, what do you think about what you're hearing Farage is going to say today?
Yes, he's speaking at Oxford Airport, that well-known centre for major announcements. And I think what he's going to say, and he's written it in today's Telegraph effectively, is very radical. It's very tough. And I think he's reflecting, really, the mood of the people in this country. Labour, on the other hand, are saying now, the government are saying, we're about to send back 100 people in our one-in, one-out scheme in the coming weeks. Well, we'll believe it when we see it. The other absolutely outrageous thing the government is saying is that they've done something that the Conservatives never did. They've returned 36,000 people. Well, of those 36,000 they've returned, the majority are people whose visas have expired and are going back in the normal course of events. So they're not actually making an effort to return extra people. And that's just, quite frankly, duplicitous of the government to make these claims. And I think when Nigel Farage, the reason he is doing so well in the polls is that when he talks straightforwardly, people believe him. He is no ifs, no buts. That's what he said about this policy. The Human Rights Bill, the new bill, will be difficult to get through Parliament and established in law. There's no question about that. It's going to be difficult. But he says he's taking all the right advice, looking at it very carefully. So one would have to assume he has thought about that properly so that his plans could become effective.
Except lawyers, legal obstacles to all of this. Would there still be a problem on that front?
Oh, I'm sure they'll kick up a fuss in any way they can. But I think Nigel Farage has thought this through and is continuing to think it through, because obviously he knows that's precisely what all these swathes of human rights lawyers that will be trying to do.
But Labour say it's an empty soundbite without any plan to actually back it up. They describe it as a fantasy.
Well, I think we have to hear what Nigel Farage says today in more detail, but I don't think it is an empty soundbite. Much of what he's saying can be done. Donald Trump has proved this in America by deporting an enormous number of illegal immigrants.
In a very short space of time.
In a very short space of time. I mean, what is not happening in this country, in almost anywhere you look, is this government doesn't get anything done. It creates new quangos, passes the buck on to some new commission, which they're going to do again with their new plans for illegal immigrants. They're going to create an absurd commission. They call it independent, yet they're paying for it. Rather, we, the taxpayer, are paying for it. We don't know who these people are. If ever there's a plan that's not thought out, it's the government's latest wheeze to try and desperately...
But things changed over the weekend. We talked about those 900 arrivals.
Yes.
Ellie's got pictures there in the papers today. and they're featuring children this time.
Yeah.
We're normally used to the migrant boats being full of single males.
80%, yes. I mean, the children, of course, and this is what the illegal immigrants would want you to see, is the children, because, of course, that immediately provokes compassion from the reader or viewer. And, of course, anyone would have any sympathy for a helpless young child stuck in the middle of the channel. But, of course, they play on this deliberately. But more than 80% of the people coming over are male age, who could be called up for military service. They're fighting age. These are people coming here without any shadow of a doubt, purely to claim our benefits that the British taxpayer is paying for.
Can we go back to Nigel Farage to outline these plans today? Because just last year he said it's not his ambition to deport large numbers of people. This is September 24, direct quote, "Pointless even going there. It's a political impossibility. Simply can't do it." What has changed in the past year, Piers?
Well, first, he's seen Trump do it in America, and it's worked. The second is that the mood of the people, I think, has got much more... much stronger and much more virulent about this issue. And I think there is a deep concern amongst the voters. And also, there is a danger of civil unrest, because we've seen the demonstrations outside the hotels, and there could be easily more. It's a bit of a tinderbox situation at the moment. And I think Nigel knows that the people generally in this country, the majority of voters, are feeling very angry about the way this country is being dragged down by illegal immigrants we cannot afford to sustain.
Well, if you're one of those people and you've got something to say on this morning, please do register your comments on Your Say. Get in touch with us for that, and we will reflect that throughout the programme. Piers, appreciate talking to you, appreciate your views.
Pleasure.
I've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. And let's have a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom.
And an Ethiopian national seeking asylum in the UK is set to appear in court today. Hardush Kubatu is charged with 3 counts of sexual violence, harassment and inciting a girl to engage in sexual activity. He was living in the Bell Hotel in Epping at the time of the alleged crimes.
2 people have been stabbed at the Notting Hill Carnival as police make a total of 423 arrests. The Metropolitan Police have said neither stabbings resulted in life-threatening injuries. It marks the highest number of arrests in the last 6 years.
3 people have died and a 4th person remains in hospital in a serious condition. It follows a helicopter crash during a flying lesson in the Isle of Wight yesterday. Hampshire Police say they are continuing to work alongside the Air Accident Investigation Branch to establish exactly what happened. Now, you may have noticed that your basket in the supermarket has got very expensive.
Yeah, food prices
I've certainly noticed that.
are rising at their fastest level in 18 months, with the cost of everyday items, items like chocolate, like butter, like eggs, all on the up.
Well, figures from the British Retail Consortium show that food inflation jumped to 4.2% this month, the highest since February last year. Experts are also warning that food and drink inflation could climb even higher, possibly reaching 6% by the end of the year. With her take on this, economist Vicky Price. Vicky, this affects everybody, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the one good thing, which I have to mention, is that if you look at non-food prices, they've been going down. So if you look overall at what you're paying in shops, in August, they've increased by 0.9%, whereas within that, yes, food prices went up very significantly, but non-food products went down by 0.8%, which is at least a bit of relief, particularly as people are going shopping for uniforms and things that they need for the children going back to school. So there is a little bit of relief there. But if food is the real issue, which is affecting everybody.
Vicky, why is food inflation stickier than fuel, for example, fuel prices?
Well, it's a combination of factors. Of course, we've all noticed a change in climate. So there have been some very bad harvests, so there's no doubt about that. There's also been quite an increase in particular products. So if you look at demand for meat and dairy, this is the interesting thing. I mean, they've been going up quite significantly over the last year. So we've seen that particularly in the US and China, which has pushed prices up for everybody. And then we had avian flu in terms of chickens, and they have been affected as well. And then suddenly, Brazil, that was affected by this particularly, is the one where suddenly it's free of avian flu, and demand is increasing in terms of imports into the US and China again, and all over the world. So that's pushing prices up too. So you've seen also prices of eggs going up. So it's been pretty general across. I mean, some things are coming down. Cereals are coming down in terms of price. Sugar is coming down in terms of price. So it's not all bad news, but it does suggest that the consumer is going to have to really be quite careful what they buy and switch to things that are perhaps cheaper, like products produced by individual supermarkets rather than branded ones. So there is a bit of that going on, and will, I think, continue.
So, Vicky, how much of the rise can we put at the feet of the supermarkets themselves? Have they got anything to do with this?
Yes, I think what we're talking about is the final price, what the consumer has to pay. So there is a lot to do with supply chains and so on. But there is no doubt that costs have gone up generally, particularly in terms of employment. We've seen the impact of the national insurance contributions already being reflected in willingness to employ people. We've just seen the latest data on hiring, which suggests that for new joiners, the demand isn't there anymore. So we've seen quite a substantial decline in those positions. Supermarkets have reacted as well. And yes, there is a question of, what are the profit margins? That's been looked at a number of times. They claim they're not very high, but there is no doubt that extra cost that they have been having to put up with as well.
But Vicky, Tesco, just as an example, Tesco don't earn millions of pounds in profit. Tesco earn billions of pounds in profit.
Well, this is absolutely true. But of course, the British Retail Consortium tells you that, in fact, the sort of margins aren't very great in terms of profit margins, but they are indeed in terms of the number or the size of those profits is quite an important one. And you're absolutely right. So they could do something, but it is inevitable that they would react by upping the prices.
Is there any sign of when food inflation is going to start to ease, going to start to come down for people?
Yes, I think if you look at the world prices, I mean, I've just looked at the data. They have been coming down in some areas already. So we talked a little bit about what's happening with meat and so on. That's beginning to ease off. Vegetable oils have been one of the main areas. They've gone up very much recently, but of course they could come down because we've seen some improvements in terms of production. So yes, it should come down, and people should be feeling happy maybe in the longer term. But I think in the next few months, some of those earlier increases in food prices are going to make it into the supermarkets, I'm afraid. So we're in for high costs for the next couple of months, I guess.
It's going to be an expensive Christmas by the sound of it.
I'm afraid so. It looks like it.
Yeah, OK. Vicky Price, economist there. Thank you very much indeed for your overseeing of all of that. Thank you very much.
It's a good point about Christmas because the vegetable, I mean, especially the potatoes at the moment, which are very expensive this year, it's harvesting now.
Yeah.
So the prices now, I mean, we're going to be paying for them in December.
And the harvest is affected by the lack of water.
Drought
there has been
conditions,
for that. So it's just expense, and the government would do well to heed that, looking at the budget in the autumn. And why do we need to raise more money in the autumn? Why can't we just keep paying off what we've borrowed at the minute? Stop spending. That would be it, wouldn't it? That'd be a good idea. What are the things that we're spending money on in the country that we don't need to be spending money on? We'd look forward to getting your say on that one. Please do get in touch. Catherine Chalk with the weather update. Let's see what the picture's going to be like. Is it going to be as good as yesterday, Catherine?
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now do stay with us. Still to come, 900 people crossed the channel this bank holiday weekend. We're going to get all of the details with our Home and Security editor, Mark White. That's next. I'm Ellie Costello, and thank you so much for joining us here on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
Because you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel. Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
I love these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
Set your timers. It's all going to be released at 8 o'clock this morning. Series 2 with Love Meghan.
Every time I want to read you something interesting from the papers, do you talk about her?
Because the clip just played.
But she's not interesting.
Some context.
She's not interesting. No one cares about her or her cookery programmes. I'm sure she doesn't even cook in them, does she?
I'm not sure. I haven't watched it myself.
Well, we'll never find out because we'll never watch it. But will you watch it? That's the question.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested in how to make lobster pasta. See, I'd watch it actually for the cooking rather than for Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
But I like cooking.
Be with a sick bucket watching it. Couldn't watch it, wouldn't watch it, wouldn't run it. But anyway, they're going to release it at what, 8 o'clock this morning?
8 o'clock this morning, yes.
Why are we giving her all this free advertising?
Well, lots of people are very interested. And Cameron Walker's going to be talking to us about it later.
Are you really interested? Let us know if you are.
And if Prince Harry's going to make an appearance, I think people will be interested in that. Yeah, come on, tell me what you want to tell me.
There's a couple of things I was going to tell you. There's a couple of things I was going to tell you, and I've now lost it there. But rats, right? So rats are growing to the biggest rat they've got in the country so far, 22 inches long. 22 inches.
How big's that?
That's just short of 2 foot, isn't it?
Oh.
So it's
a big rat.
It's a big rat, and you get them in Redcar. You get them in red cars.
Well, don't go to Redcar.
Yeah, it's the worst. And it's going to be a winter of a plague of giant rats around the country caused by fast food waste in particular. And that's because we don't have bins anymore. They have those
they don't get collected.
Plastic bags all lying around the streets, you know? So give it a couple of years and rats will be 25 inches long.
Oh, that's
the
awful.
Experts are saying.
Oh, that's horrible.
Rat stories.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen can cause you to go deaf. What?
Well, you have to read that one.
I take a lot of ibuprofen.
Oh, no.
So I'm deaf as a result of ibuprofen. Goodness me.
Oh, dear.
Nightmares can be a sign that you're seriously ill. I have a lot of nightmares. Do you have nightmares?
Well, it's not looking good based on the front of the Daily Mail for you, is it? No, you're going deaf and you're seriously ill.
How to tell if you're genuinely hungry or if it's just in your mind. Oh, goodness me. Anyway.
We're going to go through some of those in the papers in about 15 minutes' time, so don't miss that. Now, almost 900 small boat migrants crossed the Channel illegally over the bank holiday weekend.
Now, that takes the number who have arrived since Starmer took office to more than 52,000. 52,000 in just over a year, which is almost 10,000 more than at this point last year.
Well, our Home Security editor, Mark White, joins us now. Good morning to you, Mark. And it seems like this one-in, one-out deal with France isn't really acting as a deterrent.
Good morning to you. No, far from it. The only thing that stopped the small boats coming in even greater numbers over the past week and a bit is the weather conditions in the English Channel. And it's blowing a gale down in the Channel today, but we can bring you more breaking news, which is at least 3 small boats in the water under escort heading to UK waters, and at least 2 look as though they've made it to UK waters, which is quite remarkable given the conditions out there. Our reporter Chris is telling us that there are very significant swells in the Channel, which are just clearly not conducive to these flimsy inflatables getting across that stretch of water. And you were saying, you know, almost 900. Well, it's clearly going to be well over 900 now. We could even be approaching 1,000 small boat migrants since Sunday. And you mentioned the one-in, one-out deal, that partial deal. It's never been a one-in, one-out. It's only a tiny fraction of those coming across that are going to be returned. To illustrate this, We understand about 100 migrants have been earmarked for return to France, including some that were arrested over the bank holiday weekend. And they, we're told, will be returned to France over the coming weeks. That compares now to about 3,600 who've come in that same period. So that just shows you what they're up against and how potentially ineffectual this deal is going to be. These are great odds if you're a migrant or a people smuggler. 3,600 in, 100 back. There's very limited chance, if any, that you're going to get returned to France.
Well, I tell you, that will add more fuel to the fire with what Nigel Farage is going to speak about today, Mark. And we're going to be covering his speech from the Oxford airport today, where he's got his plans how he's going to deal with migrants, and it's going to be they don't come in the first place, and if they do come, they're going straight back. But we'll see how he plans to do that later today. We'll speak to you again later, Mark. Thank you very much indeed. Coming up, Carlos Alcaraz eased past a guy in the US Open, but can you notice anything different about him?
He shaved his head.
Shaved his head. Shaved his head. Shaved his head, baldy. Coming up, talking to Paul Coyte about all of that right after this.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Starting in Cambridgeshire, there is significant disruption on the M11 southbound at junction 12 due to a major accident involving a vehicle crossing the central reservation. All lanes are currently closed, with normal traffic conditions expected after 10:15 this morning. In West Sussex, a broken-down vehicle is affecting the M23 southbound exit at junction 9, leaving only one lane open. And on the trains, there are delays on the Avanti West Coast and East Midlands Railway to and from Liverpool Lime Street. Remember to plan your journeys accordingly, and for more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, it's the final week to see how you could live the next year mortgage or rent-free with an additional £5,000 in your bank account.
And
but
if you
what
don't have
happens?
any of those
That's what I was about
payments,
to ask you.
yeah, you make each month, you could end up with £15,000. That's in cash, tax-free, and here's how.
There's just 3 days to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Hurry, lines close this Friday. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
OK, and we'll skip through the sport now. We say good morning to Paul, who's got all the details of the US Open and the tennis. And Jack Draper's the man you want to talk about.
Well, there's a few. I mean, the Brits have done well. I mean, we're through the first round. Emma Raducanu's through, by the way. You know that, don't you?
Second round, first time since 2021.
Cameron Norrie, let's have a look at that, beat American Sebastian Korda, whose dad played professional tennis and whose sister Nellie is the best golfer, female golfer in the world. So a very sporty family.
Gosh.
Can you imagine what it's like at Christmas when they play games? It's very
Jenga.
serious. Do you reckon? It's very serious.
Very competitive.
So it's a bit of a bizarre end there. Korda retired injured. It was 2 sets down. But you know what? A win's a win, so you've got to be happy with that. So Cameron Norrie came through there. Jack Draper beat Federico Augustin from Argentina in 4 sets. He was a little unwell again.
He was sick again.
It's the heat. It's
Is that what
very
it is?
hot. So he seems to... Maybe they should just take a bucket every time he goes to play tennis. I don't know, but he seemed a little unwell, not fully fit. He said that he's not serving as hard as he normally would, but he is serving more accurately. Because let's face it, the harder you hit it, the less likely it is to go in. So, you know... But Carlos Alcaraz, more importantly than any of the tennis that's going on, has a new haircut.
A buzz cut?
Yeah. Should we have a look? See what
that brings us to... Oh, yes.
What do you think? No? Not a fan?
I'm not.
He looks like the skinheads that I used to see in Romford in the early 80s.
I think it's very rare that people
There
get
we
away
are.
with
Look
a
at that. Yeah, it's a severe haircut.
No, I don't like it at all.
Not sure that's working for me.
So I'll not get that done next weekend then?
No, don't go to that.
You've got a lovely head of hair.
Yeah, but Medvedev, let's just have a look. I mean, this was the one yesterday, but I do love a fit of peak. So just to remind us, let's have a look at Daniil Medvedev getting very upset. Look at this. I mean, what now? I see that I don't understand. I'm someone that doesn't really lose my temper, and I would. What makes you feel better about just smashing that racket up like that? And it's not going to break really if he's doing it at the bag, is he? Look at that.
I also think mortifying to do that in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Are you having a tantrum in front of everybody?
You'd love to take it and hit him with it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a grown man.
For crying out.
Behaving like that.
It wasn't the racket's fault, it was his fault.
Yes. Not the racket's
When you want
fault.
it breaking a little piece of racket to come back and hit him in the face.
Let's talk about the footy yesterday.
Yeah.
When it comes to Liverpool-Newcastle matches, Paul, they're always billed as big scores, big exciting things that came from that game in the 90s, where they went 3-3, I think it was.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, that was when Newcastle were going for the title, do you remember? And it all then fell away.
I'd love it if we won it, and we beat them, I'd love it.
What did you think about that? Because it was Manchester United that Kevin Keegan was talking about, wasn't it, at the time?
Bring it on, that's what you just thought, bring it on.
Alex Ferguson, that's when you'd see managers really going for it. But Kevin Keegan was one of a kind anyway. But Rio Ungamoa, he wasn't even born. I mean, he wasn't even a glint. His probably dad wasn't even born when that game was. He scored the winner for Liverpool. It was it was 90 plus 10. So pretty much the 100th minute of the game, which I know really grinds your gears. And it really was a hell of a game. They went 2-0 up. Anthony Gordon got sent off for a ridiculous foul. Just ran his studs down the back right down the back of someone's leg. Who was it?
Well, it was Virgil van Dijk.
It was Virgil van Dijk, of course it was. Right down, and you see
that would have cost him the game. Really,
I think so, because he's the one that's playing up front. Whereas they've got no Alexander Isak because he's now deciding that he's not going to play. They're still trying to talk him in to the possibility of coming back to play for Newcastle, because when the transfer window ends, which is next week, he's going to be left. So what happens? Does he actually go with his tail between his legs and go back, OK, I'll play for you now? Or does he just not play? It's just a ridiculous state of affairs.
It is.
I think Liverpool, he'll end up going to Liverpool in the end. But would you even want someone with an attitude like that to play for your club? Because if you know you've done it for the last one, he could well do it to you too. Yeah.
Meanwhile, a very important win for Liverpool to go to Newcastle and come away with 3 points.
Yeah.
And it keeps them on course for the title.
It does. We're two
although
games.
Arsenal were looking good, especially with that win, second win of the season against Leeds on Saturday. 5-0.
I think Arsenal are looking very, very good. And now Iberici Eze that's gone for them. So Arsenal are top, Liverpool third. Who is it that's in second at the moment?
Who is it?
It's Tottenham Hotspur, second.
Is it?
Yeah.
God, that amazes me. Must amaze you as well.
Oh, yeah. 2 games in. 2 games in.
They played well at the weekend.
Is that 2 wins?
2 games.
Yeah.
Well, great win against City on Saturday. Great win.
Absolutely. So we've,
So, Coity, I think we're looking good.
Each game as it comes, Ellie.
Yeah,
each game as it comes. And only another 34 to go.
Don't be talking up Arsenal too much.
I know. But it's only
Spurs looking good.
It's because from time to time I get a lot of stick from Arsenal fans, obviously.
Yeah.
But credit where credit's due. I think they're a very good side. I think
take it on.
They are going to take a lot of beating.
Do it like your man with a racket there. Take it on. Yeah.
Don't be like him. Yeah. You're better than that.
19 games in the Carabao Cup tonight. Probably the most important one for many reasons. Sheffield, it's a Yorkshire derby. Sheffield Wednesday going to be playing Leeds United.
That will be some atmosphere at that.
It really will, at Hillsborough, because the thing is, they're still packing in 20, 25, 30,000. And they're broke. And it's this owner we've spoken about before, Dejan Chinsiri. He put loads of money in originally, and then the money's dried up. And they still have a sense of humour, though, because of their game, the first game of the season. I was reading this in the Times. The DJ was played Money's Too Tight by Simply Red, was being played. They played Save Us by Feeder. Things Can Only Get Better by D-Ream. So the DJ's just playing all these songs. They need help. And they are going to struggle this season. They've got they've only got 1 point. Leeds United, local derby, and we know Leeds are in the Premier League. I haven't had a great start, but wouldn't it be lovely for all Sheffield Wednesday fans, and probably for neutrals as well, to see Sheffield Wednesday get a result?
Leeds haven't had a great start. They were walloped 5-0 on Saturday.
No, I didn't say they had a great start. Did I say that?
You did. You said Leeds had a great start.
Did I?
Well, who had a good start then?
Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Thank
you and good night. OK, we're back after the break. Still to come, a new cocktail flavour is proving to be very popular with the public. Find out
not what
it is. Suzanne Evans, Scarlett Maguire, next.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. Well, there's plenty of sunny spells across Europe, but also some widespread thunderstorms developing. So across much of Madeira and the Canary Islands, a few showers here and breezy. Across Spain, fine with plenty of sunshine. But here are those thunderstorms with the risk of hail and lightning. Across Greece, much of the country seeing plenty of sunshine here. And as we go through the week, there'll still be some showers around, but also plenty of sunshine still, and temperatures up to 33.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very, very tonight on the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
ChatGPT.
What's that?
If you don't know what it is, it's artificial intelligence and it helps you write things and research things. And you can even talk to them like they're your friend, can't you, Tom?
Shall we
you
do
know
some
about
of that
this,
now?
don't you?
I mean, we could talk to Chat now.
Go on, you love talking to Chat.
I was actually
Careful, though.
I was actually talking to Chat last night about Texas redistricting. It was very good fun. Wait, hang on, here we go.
Beats railway lines.
Hi, Chat. You're live on GB News. How are you feeling?
Oh, wow, live TV. That's exciting. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me on. How's everything going on your end?
It's going great. We're just doing a segment about artificial intelligence. Do you have anything to say about that?
Absolutely. AI is such a fascinating topic, and it's amazing to see how it's evolving and becoming part of our everyday lives. There's so much potential for it to help us in all kinds of fields, including journalism.
ChatGPT, to which we were just talking, is undergoing a major change after concerns it was giving overly direct advice on sensitive personal matters, including whether users should break up with their partners. So you could write in there, oh, my partner never takes the rubbish out, he sometimes is a bit rude to me, blah, 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 and then they say, break up with him.
But here's the interesting thing. For people that have been taking relationship advice from this robot, well, OpenAI, the company behind it, says the chatbot will stop giving such clear-cut answers to questions about personal relationships. So that's a new change from OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT.
Yeah. I've just asked, does Emily Carver like Tom Harwood?
And
I've asked the chatbot
what does
this.
Chat say?
There's no evidence Emily Carver likes Tom Harwood.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Now we've got to the point of the morning to go through the papers and what's making the news. Political commentator Suzanne Evans. We say hello, good morning to her, and former Labour advisor Scarlett Maguire. Now, we want to talk about the Gaza situation to begin with. The particular take your guys are taking is from The Guardian. Suzanne, global condemnation after Israel bombs the same Gaza hospital twice.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to have absolutely no heart to be able to turn a blind eye to this, really, and not think it isn't absolutely horrendous. And for me, I think the takeaway from this is really the fact that 5 journalists were killed in this attack.
Why? Sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm sorry. I get really irritated when I see news stations going big on journalists being killed. Other people are killed and they don't mention it. Journalists are killed and it's suddenly worse.
Well, I'm not saying it's worse, Eamonn, but I think, you know, a lot of us around this table are journalists, so I think it hits home. But this is not an isolated incident. I think that was what was going to be my point. There have been 189, at least 189 Palestinian journalists killed in Gaza in the last 22 months since this awful war began.
And the other point to make, Suzanne, is that Israel are not allowing international journalists into Gaza. So if it's journalists inside Gaza who are being killed, almost 200, as you say, we won't know what's going on inside Gaza.
That's right, but that is also a point in itself, isn't it? So there's been a lot of criticism of Israel for not allowing international journalists into Gaza, and there's constant pressure on Israel to do so. But Israel's point is it's not safe. Because, of course, when you're a journalist in a conventional war, and I say conventional war, the fact is this isn't a conventional war. This is a war against terrorists. It's against Hamas. Hamas is you know, it puts tunnels under civilian homes. It booby-traps schools and hospitals. It uses hostages as human shields. This is a very, very different war. And so I actually get quite annoyed when people criticise Israel for what they're doing. But the fact is, because of the situation there, if you do let foreign journalists journalists in, they could only be there, really, at the behest of Hamas or some kind of NGO such as UNRWA, which has various allegations against it as being involved with Hamas. And we know that UNRWA workers took part in the October the 7th massacre. So I think this is really, for me, a justification of the Israeli position. It is too dangerous for foreign journalists to be there because Hamas does not play by any kind of rules. It's a terrorist organisation.
Scarlett?
Compared to Ukraine, where only 18 journalists have been killed.
Well, I mean, actually, it's 296 journalists. I mean, I was on and I understand exactly what you say, Eamonn, but journalists are being targeted. There is no question. And what happened yesterday with that hospital, if you looked at the pictures, is so they bomb a hospital. Why? And then when the rescue workers and the journalists go in, they bomb it again. And I mean, it is, of course, it's you know, there are very, very few working hospitals in Gaza. If you're injured, you will probably die of your injuries. This is a war in which Israel admits that 83% of the casualties are civilians. It is absolutely terrible, and we are just watching it happen. That the UN has said that there's a famine there, and they're very, very strict. There's very, very few famines out. Well, this is the only famine outside Africa that they've named. So there's a famine there. There are civilians being killed all the time. People are now being told to move again. I mean, when are we going to stop it? And there's only one person who can stop this war, and it is Donald Trump. And
he could. He could.
All he has to do is, I mean, the Israelis, I mean, that's what's so incredible. The Israelis want it stopped. There are massive marches, you know, led actually by the families of the hostages.
To Trump. He does what Trump says.
Yeah.
We'll move on to another subject. That's an absolutely awful story.
Yeah.
There's stories, obviously, over the past few days doing the rounds about Angela Rayner and where she lives and property she's bought and whatever. And I must admit, and I'm looking and I see her home in Manchester and her home in, where's that one?
Hove.
In Hove.
South Coast, yeah.
And I just think, Scarlett, it is, they're only, it's sexist, it's classist, the woman has done nothing wrong. And yet I can see her address here, the fact that they picture her home, where it is in Manchester and where it is in Hove. Absolutely disgraceful.
Well, I think there are two things to say. One is you know, if I was advising her politically, I would have told her not to buy the place in Hove, right? She's got a place in London that's a grace and favour place. That's all right. But actually, the whole way she is represented, it's like, so when she went to Glyndebourne, everybody said, what's she doing at Glyndebourne? You think, this is a woman who loves music, and she loves music whether she's in Ibiza in some rock joint.
Whether she's from Wythenshawe or not.
Yeah, and what's she doing, you know, drinking rosé? I mean, this is absolutely appalling that working class people, particularly women, are not allowed, they're only supposed to like certain things. And actually, the thing about Angela Rayner is, like all of us, she's a mass of contradictions, and she likes what she likes and she doesn't like what she... And I do think that the whole way that she is being portrayed, I mean, it is a campaign against her.
I'm sorry, you can't have this much sympathy for Angela Rayner. I agree with what you say, Eamonn. She's done nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. Anybody who wants to buy a holiday home, I absolutely applaud it. Work hard, have 3 homes. That's your choice. I've got no problem. The fact is the Labour government wants to stop that. It hates, in theory, second homeowners, unless obviously it's them. The hypocrisy here is off the scale. Buying a third home, yeah, the rest of us have to pay extra stamp duty. If we buy a property to let out, then there's all kinds of legal red hoops we have to
So are you
join
saying
through.
she hasn't paid stamp duty?
No,
I mean,
I'm not
she's
saying-
done she's done
there was
everything
the
by
issue,
the...
wasn't there? We're not... Exactly, that's my point. She's done everything by the book as it stands at the moment. But Labour want to change all these laws. So it almost looks like she's getting in quick before her government pulls the rug from under their feet.
It's an
optics
issue.
It's just an optics issue, because then actually it's not about Labour government. It's about local councils who want to double...
No, it's not. Housing policy is set nationally.
No, local councils want to be able to to charge second homeowners more.
Because they're completely mismanaging their funds. And like
local councils of all colours.
Of all colours. I'd be the first to admit that. I've been a councillor. None of them are very good at managing their money. They're, again, like we were talking about in the first paper review round, it's tax and spend, always tax, never cut.
But Suzanne, get back to Angela. The way she is portrayed really is pretty horrible, and it is about being a working class woman.
There is something I picked up on at the weekend, and it was the pictures, I'm sure you've seen them, of Angela Rayner vaping on a kayak.
Yeah, that was a horrible
And also
image.
drinking a large glass of white wine on the beach, and it was portrayed in a way that we should be laughing at her. And I just thought, well, Nigel Farage would be puffing away on his cigarette with a pint in his hand, and he's seen as a man of the people. Angela Rayner is portrayed in a completely different way.
I saw that image, and I thought it was really irresponsible, actually. It was a terrible image, designed to humiliate, and I'd be the first to condemn that. Absolutely right. And there's a huge amount of sexism in politics and journalism, and it's
classism.
And classism too, arguably. But I think in Angela Rayner's case, she does bring a lot of it upon herself, I'm afraid.
No, I don't. I mean, I think there is a campaign to, put her in her place. I mean, that's what I find so awful about it.
OK, we'll be talking to a Labour representative at 9 o'clock this morning. We'll be asking him about that. We say goodbye to the ladies. They'll be back in 35 minutes' time. Right now, we've got Catherine Chalk with a weather update.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times, with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland, with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M4 westbound exit Slip Road at junction 40 in Tybuck, electrical work surveys have closed the road with diversions. A severe incident on the A30 eastbound in Devon has closed all lanes. Normal conditions are expected between 9:15 and 9:30. In Cambridgeshire, the M11 southbound entry slip at junction 12 is blocked due to a vehicle crossing the central reservation. The A50 eastbound lanes in Staffordshire are closed due to an accident investigation. On the trains, there are disruptions on Avanti West Coast and East Midlands Railway services to and from Liverpool Lime Street. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Nigel Farage unveils how his party would end the small boats crisis.
After GB News exclusively reveals that 900 migrants illegally crossed the Channel over the long weekend.
So does Reform's UK's plans of mass deportations stack up? Or is it Labour getting a grip on Britain's migrant crisis?
Now, have you noticed a hike in supermarket prices this summer? Well, food inflation has peaked as families feel the pinch at the checkout.
Should we stop the rollout of electric cars? We'll debate that at 8:20. If you've got one, we'll be interested in your experience. Drivers are now complaining of a problem with charging points at various petrol stations, restaurants, etc. And that must be your nightmare, needing a charge but nowhere to do it or waiting in a queue.
The Duchess of Sussex's latest Netflix show is released, but does Prince Harry make an appearance?
Of these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
8 brand new episodes have just dropped on Netflix, and Meghan revealed the thing she misses most about the UK, but it's something quite surprising, so stay tuned to find out.
And in sport this morning, Liverpool beat Newcastle in a pulsating game at St James's Park. Maybe that's what Meghan misses. Jack Draper is through to the second round of the US Open after being sick on court again. And could it be the worst game they could hope for, or maybe the best? Beleaguered Sheffield Wednesday take on Leeds in the Carabao Cup tonight.
It's turning more changeable this week with rain or heavy showers, but not for everyone. I'll have all the details coming up shortly.
Hello there, whoever you're watching, however you're listening, wherever you're listening or watching, I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Lots of you getting in touch this morning on our top story today. Nigel Farage outlining his plans to tackle illegal migration, deportation being a big one. John says, I hope that when Nigel Farage becomes Prime Minister, it's definitely looking like that, that there's a great big exodus out of this country, that people would do anything to swamp this country with illegal migrants.
Now, we're talking about the front pages of the papers today, the Telegraph and was it the Mail?
The Times.
The Times, showing pictures of children on these boats. And And it's a change in the narrative that we have been getting, because up until now it's been thought it's men, single men, whatever it is. But Pete makes a very good point. Anyone who brings a child across that channel on a dinghy should immediately be arrested for child endangerment on arrival in the UK and remanded in custody, and that fact advertised in France.
Steve says, I'm sick and tired of hearing about legal routes for asylum. If there was a legal route, how many would we draw the line at? We haven't got a bottomless pit of money and resources to save the entire world. We have to put Britain first.
Maz, good point here. They aren't desperate. They're desperate to get here so they can get all the handouts that are available. And we were talking about that earlier. And surely if you took the handouts away, you take away the incentive. I mean, the idea that if you get here and you are accepted, you get a house, you get access to education, to healthcare, whatever. That shouldn't be there as an incentive.
We've also been talking about food inflation because it's at an 18-month high. Egg prices are up, chocolate prices are up as well, getting very expensive in the shops. We do want to hear your views on this because we're hoping to talk about it tomorrow as well. So if you've experienced food inflation, you're seeing the prices of your food basket going up in the supermarkets, gbviews@gbnews.uk is our email address, gbviews@gbnews.uk. If you email us what you've experienced, we'll try and get you on the show tomorrow morning.
You mentioned chocolate there. The thing that really irritates me, and I know it irritates Coity as well, is shrinkflation. And we often talk, as grown men, we talk about chocolate bars, the size of them, how they've shrunk. I had a Crunchy the other day. It was unbelievably small.
One crunch, right?
What?
One crunch and you're crunchy. That's
One crunch and you're gone. Mars bars, ridiculous. You know, there's very few things. I think Maltesers have stayed about the same, but
There's still quite a lot in Maltesers, yeah. I can vouch for that. I had one on the plane the other day.
Yeah, but it really is poor show.
I'm actually having to buy myself family bars now as one of my own.
Yeah.
That's how bad things are getting.
Are you getting through the family bar?
Quite easily.
Easily,
yes.
yeah.
Quite easily, yeah.
I've noticed chocolate. One of the biggest things I've noticed in the supermarket is the cost of chocolate. Because you used to be able to get a bag, you know, like the family-sized bags of your 12s or your Oreo Bites, whatever it is, for about £1, and now it's about £1.85.
But they're half filled.
They're half filled.
What's the point of having a bag that's big when there's only that much in there?
Yeah, chocolate I've definitely noticed. Orange juice up a lot as well.
Yeah.
And fruit, like the cost of apples. Fortune.
Wouldn't it be great if some chocolate bar, maybe there's a promotion or some PR thing said, look, we are going to be the size we were originally. And then maybe more people are going to buy them.
And then we could all throw our weight behind them.
You raise an interesting point. Who buys apples anymore?
Pink lady apples
When was
are
the last
lovely.
time you bought an apple?
Actually, I do. Yeah, we
You probably can't afford them. You probably can't afford them.
Yeah.
A pack of them, honestly, a fortune. Check it out next time you're in the supermarket.
I could only have soft apples, you know, those sort of red ones.
Oh, they're the worst.
What do you mean the
They're
worst?
only good in a crumble.
A bit bitter, aren't they, those red
Yeah,
ones?
they're a bit bitter.
No,
You want to try the
but
pink lady.
sweet. No, I don't want to be going for the sweet. red or sweet.
You want the
Green or bitter?
Yeah, but you want the pink lady, trust me.
Actually,
they're
Granny
really
Smiths are
crunchy.
bitter, aren't they? They're the dark green ones.
Also, have you noticed...
All right.
Have you noticed there's fewer offers at the end of the aisles? Fewer value items, things like that?
No, I haven't noticed.
I think there's fewer value
Yeah,
items,
you think?
few offers on. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Let us know if that's something you've experienced.
So the lead story we have for you this morning is not fewer offers at the end of the aisles. It's more offers coming in from Nigel Farage, because today he's going to launch his ideas of how to repeal the Human Rights Act and scrap anything acting as a roadblock to deporting migrants from this country.
Well, it's all part of Reform UK's plan to tackle the small boats crisis. The party also pledges to build detention centres on military sites, something Labour has dismissed as Farage's fantasy Air Force bases.
Well, let's get the take of former Conservative advisor James Price on this one. A lot of ideas coming through. He says there are about 1 million people in this country now who shouldn't be here. What's your take? Will he get anywhere with these proposals?
Well, it's still a long way before anybody's going to be able to implement any of this. This is the bit that I think that the people in Westminster don't yet understand, but people around the country already do. However ghastly and horrible the first year of the Labour government has been, there's almost going to be 4 years more of it, unless there's some complete collapse or something going on. How much worse are things going to get in the next 4 years? Does anybody have any faith
but James,
that Starmer's going to fix it before
then? The thing I'm going to say to you is, you say this, James, but Starmer will lose. I will confidently say he will lose the election if he's still in charge of the Labour Party. The public will vote them out because of what they're not doing in this migrant crisis.
Well, let's see, because he's pledged that votes at 16 will come in as well. And although there may be a bit of a boost because younger people are getting more right-wing, that's probably still going to help Labour. What if Labour give the vote to all Europeans who were given settled leave to remain in the last few years? They're all those European people much more likely, therefore, to go and vote for Labour. Do I think it's beyond the Labour Party to try and rig it in all sorts of ways to expand the franchise to help them? Not so sure. All the people who have got indefinite leave to remain in recent years or will do over the next few years, will we give it to those people? Already, people from the Commonwealth are allowed to vote. Will you start seeing Labour targeting those communities? If you're a member of a Commonwealth country and you live in Britain, you can already vote. So there are ways that a desperate socialist party will try and fix this, but that's not on this point.
Would it be Labour policy to bring in... We've seen this in Northern Ireland, where they bring in migrants and they put them in certain constituencies, certain areas, and the people will thankfully vote for the party that brought them there, in that case Sinn Féin.
Yeah, I don't see that being an impossible thing at all, which means that whatever happens in a few years' time, it is going to be more of an uphill struggle than you would think based on how deteriorating the country is, especially when you've got the Conservatives and Reform fighting it out with each other. At the moment, I think the Tories and Reform fighting is a really useful thing because it's pushing parties further to the right, which obviously I think is a good thing to do. And you've got someone like Farage who used to say that deporting all illegal migrants was impossible. He said that 6 months ago. He's changed now.
Yeah, what's changed in the last year or so? Because this is a direct quote from him in September 2024, saying it's pointless even going there. This is on the topic of deporting large numbers of illegal migrants. It's a political impossibility. We simply can't do it.
Right. I think a few things have happened. One is Rupert Lowe leaving and being such a strident force. He was a Reform MP who has made this his kind of cri de coeur to be done. The Tories have got a lot more robust on this as well. A lot of the people who were quite wet in the Tory party thankfully lost their seats, so the Tory position is stronger. And most of it, I think, is the fact that Donald Trump has come into office and almost overnight has stopped the illegal crossings from the southern border in the United States, and it's given some hope, and we'll get to watch them operationalise that over the next
Why has Trump been able to do that? Is there a lack of human rights representation and lawyers and things, or how would you sum it up?
Well, I've just come back from a couple of weeks in the States with Mrs. Price. I didn't notice a distinct lack of human rights anywhere, right? This idea that some people on the left in Britain try and peddle that before the Human Rights Act of 1998, one of Blair's early pieces of legislation that embeds all this ECHR nonsense into British law, do we have no human rights there? We had no human rights for the thousands of years before Tony Blair came along? No, of course not. I think one of the things that Trump doesn't have to deal with is the ECHR. Much like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, you name it, most countries aren't in the ECHR. And the ECHR was a lot better than it has been recently for many decades. Set up by Britain, and the left again will say, well, this is Winston Churchill's thing. Yeah, because the rule of law completely died in Europe following the Second World War, and it was British judges and lawyers that went in to write some of this stuff. It itself has been hijacked by judicial activists, which is why you see these really perverse and I think quite perverted laws and interpretations of laws coming out that say you can't deport this person who into this country illegally, even though he's done crimes so heinous that I won't repeat them on breakfast television, because he has a right to a family life and all of this sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
But would Nigel Farage then necessarily have the power, the ability, he'd certainly have the support to get us out of the ECHR?
Well, if he wins the election with a majority, yes. If it's a Tory Reform coalition or a Conservative majority, whatever happens, whatever party gets in, unless Labour sort of fix it in some way, shape or form, they will leave, and I think that will happen.
What would you say to people that say, oh, my goodness, we're a lawless society now as a result?
I think we're a more lawless society being inside the ECHR as it's currently constituted and as those laws are currently interpreted. We're seeing completely perverse outcomes. Again, hate crimes that I won't commit, even if I won't speak about it because they're so awful, are happening and are being enabled to happen. And the Telegraph is also reporting there's been a spike in crimes by foreign nationals coming into this country. So we need to tighten up our borders, and it is this legal framework that's making it so darn difficult to deport people who aren't supposed to be here or are committing crimes when they're here, or from stopping them coming in the first place.
Is this just the direction of travel? Because we've got Reform UK pledging to leave the ECHR. We've got the Tories reviewing it, so we'll probably most likely hear something from them in the next month or so about leaving the ECHR. And then we have Lord Blunkett yesterday and a number of Labour MPs talking about suspending the ECHR, potentially leaving it.
Yeah, I think because it is becoming the single most the single biggest impediment to getting anything done in this country is part of the ECHR. It's the way the civil service is constituted, the way that all these other laws have come in. Like, you're in the kind of end stages of a game of Tetris and you've got almost nowhere left to move. So that's going to happen. It's going to happen in other European countries as well. Friedrich Merz, the Chancellor of Germany, was talking about leaving the ECHR during the campaign there. Other very sensible countries are talking about it in Europe as well. And what's the alternative? If we don't do it, we're going to be sunk with more and more people coming in, more crimes being committed, all the rest of it. And at that point, it may just be time to turn the lights off and run away somewhere else.
Very interesting, James. James, we'll talk to you again after the 9 o'clock hour. But for the moment, thank you very much indeed. If you have anything to say about what James is having to say, please do get in touch and have your say. We'll reflect that as the show goes on.
Now, 13 minutes past 8 is the final week to see how you could live the next year mortgage or rent-free with an additional £5,000 in your bank account. But if you're one of those very lucky people that doesn't have to make those sorts of payments each month, you could end up with £15,000 in tax-free cash instead. So there is something for everyone, isn't there?
There is indeed. And here's how you could be one of those everyone's.
There's just 3 days to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Hurry, lines close this Friday. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now, I know Eamon's very excited about this because about 15 minutes ago, the second season
Couldn't
of the
care
Duchess
less.
of Sussex's lifestyle show with Love Meghan dropped on Netflix.
It can drop wherever it wants to drop. I don't want it. But anyway, there's a bit of breaking news on this, and what can you tell us?
Well, this is the breaking news coming out of this series. The Duchess of Sussex revealed how spending nearly 3 weeks away from her children left her not well. She didn't specify when those 3 weeks were. But Cameron Walker is here, our royal correspondent, who may have more details for us.
Yes.
Good morning to you, Cameron.
Good morning. Yes, I have actually watched the entire series. I was given a bit of a sneak peek. And Meghan does say that she was not well when she had to spend almost 3 weeks away from her children. What we think that was the death of Queen Elizabeth II back in September 2022. If you remember, Harry and Meghan were in the UK for charity work. And then the Queen died unexpectedly, and they stayed around in the UK for another 3 weeks, pretty much. Harry actually says it was very difficult days in his memoir Spare, so we don't 100% know that that's what she was referring to. But a lot of people this morning putting 2 and 2 together and thinking that is the time she was referring to when she was stuck in the UK. And do you want to know what I was fascinated by this. The thing that she misses most about the United Kingdom
is
Magic FM, the radio programme, because she likes all the old school bangers in the music, which just came out of nowhere.
That
when I was
is so
watching
random.
It. Yeah, really random.
I thought it would be a nice cup of tea,
yes.
if I was guessing.
I know, no tea. There's a lot of tea, but not the kind of tea perhaps that we are used to. It's very... not the kind of tea that we're used to. It was very much the herbal teas, the raspberry-infused teas and all the rest of it. Harry does not appear... This is a bit of a spoiler. Harry does not appear in this series at all. The only time he kind of appears is lots of unseen photographs of the wedding, of the reception with all the food, because the lady who did the food at the wedding in Windsor Castle, the Michelin star chef Claire Smith, who was in the Telegraph this morning, she actually cooks with Meghan some very complicated dishes. So there's lots of behind-the-scenes photographs of the pair of them. Look, with Meghan, if you love the cooking, if you love cooking shows, and if you love idealistic kind of home life programmes, the show is probably for you. If you dislike Meghan and you think perhaps how she got to this position is not great in terms of she was an actress, she then married a prince and has been given this global platform, and therefore, because of that, she's been living the American dream, some would argue, then you're probably going to take umbrage to this series. But as you were saying earlier, Ellie, I think she is a bit Marmite. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. She doesn't pretend that it's all perfect. She gets cabbage in her hair at some point. The drawers are very messy in the house. But then, of course, it's not her house,
It's not her house,
yeah.
is it? No, it's set up. In terms of the guests on this, because a lot of it is the Hollywood guests and the friends that call in to cook with Meghan, I thought it was really interesting that Claire Smith, this chef who, as you say, cooked at their wedding reception in Windsor back in 2018, she is the only guest, I believe, across the 2 seasons who links her to her life in Britain. Everything else is very Hollywood, isn't it?
It's all very Hollywood, and there are a few more Brits who appear within season 2. Tan France of Queer Eye, for example, he is originally from Manchester, but he lives in the United States of America. There's another British couple who also live within the United States. So it's all very LA bubble, all very Hollywood, apart from, as you say, Claire Smith. And what we've got with Claire Smith is that link to Prince Harry, don't we? That's the episode where we see the behind-the-scenes photographs of Windsor Castle and the reception and all the rest of it, which arguably is one of the reasons why Netflix has decided to continue this partnership with Harry and Meghan, because of those royal links. And this, of course, season 2 was filmed off the back of season 1, so it wasn't renewed for a new season. They just filmed it back-to-back and have put it out. Is there going to be a 3rd season of With Love, Meghan? Well, she's clearly very passionate about it. Let's see what the ratings do and whether Netflix is willing to invest more money in it.
But we do know there's going to be a Christmas episode.
Oh, yes, we do. Is there going to be films in this rented house? Will it actually be in Montecito? Will Prince Harry appear? We'll wait and see. There's some very, let's say, simplistic recipes that Meghan makes. There's some very complicated ones as well. But what was also interesting, at the end of each episode, a QR code comes on the screen, which links to the Netflix shop. Now, when I was previewing it, the page didn't exist, but I suspect now, when I look in a minute, it will list all of Meghan's as ever products. Flour Sprinkles appears in that episode, in a number of the episodes, actually, one of the products she sells. Of course, she's got the wine, she's got, what else has she got? I've lost count. Jams, she's got teas, all of it. So I'm sure all of that will be on the Netflix shop. So let's see if this business takes off for Meghan.
It's a money spinner.
It is.
Thank you, Cameron.
I'd rather look at Catherine Chalk. Here she is with the weather update.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times, with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland, with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
And still to come, if you have an electric vehicle, how long do you wait for a charging point?
Yes, we're going to find out the average wait time next, and it's longer than you think. This is GB News Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Welcome back. It's 4:48. You're going to love this next story with me, Martin Daubney, here on GB News. Now, it's been reported that Birmingham City Council is removing Union Jacks and English flags across the St George from their streets. Now, they say the unauthorised attachments on lampposts across the city risks the safety of pedestrians and motorists. Well, does it? Let's find out now, because I'm joined by the Conservative Councillor for Frankly Great Park, that is Simon Morrill. Simon, they're saying this is a matter of road safety. One of these flags might spontaneously fall down and blind a motorist and cause an accident.
But it's interesting, Martin, because there's a bit of a backstory to this, because this was going on for quite a while in Northfield. It was only when the flags came to Frankly, when I, as the elected councillor, just put a one-line sentence out saying, I approve this message, that the left-wing media in Birmingham decided to do a story on it, as if to try and say, why is a councillor backing it? One of those media organisations found a WhatsApp group that Labour councillors were members of. One of them was the cabinet member for community safety. And apparently, according to this journal, one member was claiming this to be, I quote, far-right astroturfing. And before my time in politics, before I got into politics, Martin, I used to work in media, and I can spot a good story. That's, in fact, you could say that's part of a job of being a politician, is to call stuff out like that. So I put that on my Facebook page, saying that they were basically calling us racist. You know, you say tomato, I say tomato. Far right basically means racist. And it absolutely blew up. The absolute outrage across the community, and quite rightly, actually, because I don't think the Union flag is in any way far right.
GB News.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Time approaching 8:26. Some breaking news coming in.
A new Palestine direct action group, Palestinian Martyrs for Justice, have occupied a weapons factory in Wolverhampton from 4 o'clock this morning.
Members of the new direct action group crashed a vehicle through 2 entrance gates and then proceeded to scale the roof. It's believed they're still occupying the roof of the factory, which we say is in Wolverhampton.
Well, the group claims that the factory is helping to facilitate the ongoing Israel-Hamas war by allegedly allegedly shipping military equipment to Israel. A spokesperson for Palestinian Martyrs for Justice said Britain has failed to prevent the Gaza genocide. Instead, our government and companies on our doorstep continue to benefit from the destruction of Palestine. So today, we're dismantling a key player in the genocidal supply chain for all the Palestinian martyrs and those fighting to survive in Gaza.
More on that throughout the programme. A new survey suggests 2/3 of electric vehicle drivers have faced long waits, too long, at charging stations, sometimes up to 2 hours, with many also finding chargers broken or blocked.
And with most drivers planning trips to avoid recharging altogether, it raises big questions about our charging infrastructure in this country.
So this morning we were asking, are electric cars worth the wait? And if you've got a story to tell, please do tell us. We're joined by motor trade expert Fraser Braun, and we've got journalist and car dealer Danny Kelly. Danny, are you noticing any difference in your sales with electric cars?
We won't touch them, Eamonn. We do used cars. They're plummeting in the prices at the auctions. People, generally speaking, don't want them. Although, like anything, if the price is right, people will buy them. What this survey told us is nothing really new. The infrastructure just isn't there. You know, people having to wait 2 hours to charge your car. And that's reflected in sales.
Well, Danny, I know somebody who does want them, or will they get them anyway, because it was part of a company car deal, and that is Miss Ellie's husband.
Oh.
So tell us now, Ellie, you see, would you actually choose to go out and buy an electric car, or did your husband just have to accept this electric car?
I personally wouldn't buy an electric car because, as you say, Danny, the infrastructure isn't there yet, and I think the range anxiety would cause me a lot of stress. But he decided to opt for it because he was given limited choices of hybrids or electric vehicles. We've gone for it. We don't yet have the port that you have in your house, you know, where it charges very quickly in 3 to 4 hours. So we had to plug it into our mains at the weekend, and it took something like 10 hours to fully charge. Yeah, it has to be left on overnight. So it's not quite there yet, is it, Fraser, in terms of our infrastructure?
Well, I completely disagree. I've had an electric car now for more than 7 years. I have an electric car in the UK, based in the Yorkshire Dales. I have an electric car over in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is slightly more challenging. But overall, if you have domestic overnight charging, and Ellie made a really good point there, if you've not got a charger at home, when your car's sat there doing nothing all night, I can access some of the cheapest electricity available. So for me, it's less than a penny a mile to drive an electric car. And you are right, they do drop in value as new cars. But as a used car at 2 years old, take something like a Jaguar I-Pace that was £75,000 new. It's £25,000 with less than 20,000 miles on the clock.
Dear God, dear God.
Years old. They become really good value for money, and people will buy them when they're second-hand.
But are you saying, are you panicking when you're in Northern Ireland when you go out and about because there is a lack of chargers?
Well, listen, I'm really pro-EV, and we've had the odd issue with broken EV chargers, in particular yesterday at both Ballymoney at Beasties and also over at Dunsily. We had issues with chargers, but the charging infrastructure is used very rarely. My mother, for example, she has overnight charging at home. She's never used a public charger, and she's had the car for 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you've got that domestic overnight charging, it's cheap. It's very affordable if you buy a 2-year-old EV, and they are absolutely the way forward. I'm a Yorkshireman. I don't like parting with my brass. I want to get cheap motoring, and for less than a penny a mile and a car for less than 20 grand to start with, you know, it sounds a bit blasé saying £20,000, but relative to what these cars are new, they're incredible value for money. And we're seeing mass adoption. There's a garage in Richmond in North Yorkshire that sells more than half of the cars they sell are electric vehicles, and that's in a rural Dales area. So it's about having that domestic overnight charging and not having to rely on public infrastructure.
Danny, where it doesn't convince me at all is, right, so I'm living in London and I want to go to see Manchester United, and I might get there, but am I going to get back down again? Or worse still, if I'm not on full charge, I'm going to miss kickoff because I'm going to have to rely on a public charger somewhere. So is that the sort of anxiety? I mean, you were talking about range anxiety there, Ellie. Is that the sort of anxiety people have? I mean, I genuinely have that. Despite what we were hearing there from Fraser, is that justifiable?
Look, you would be as anxious getting up to the northwest from London, Eamonn, as Fraser would getting from the beautiful Yorkshire Dales down to London. And Ellie, if you want to try and charge your beautiful new car on the street outside GB News, whenever I come down to the studios, they're taken up by non-EV cars, people just casually and lazily parking and hogging those spaces. Range anxiety is a massive thing. What this survey tells us, Eamonn and Ellie, is that electric cars are sound if you're just going to potter around the Yorkshire Dales. But if you want to go any great distances, they're not sound. You've got to plan with military precision.
Yeah, I disagree. I travel to my brother down in Cornwall. I regularly go on business down to Portsmouth. I'll get in my car in the Yorkshire Dales and I'll stop after about 40 minutes at Woodall Services southbound.
After 40 minutes, you've got to stop.
15 minutes. Well, I'm a certain age. We have to stop anyway as a man of a certain age. So
that
15 minutes in Starbucks and the car's charged. And then carry on down to kind of Bedford and we're away again. It's 15-minute stops.
What's important is that you can't charge your car at a penny an hour or whatever the great rate was publicly. It's nearly as expensive as petrol or diesel. And people mustn't underestimate the price of Costa coffee. You know, all of a sudden you're having to buy 5 people a cup of coffee. Where's the value, Fraser?
Where is the value, Fraser? That's the point.
Value, man?
Guys, I don't know if we've resolved anything this morning, but thank you for the debate. Really, really do appreciate. And if you are going out in an electric car, any car, whatever, here's what's happening on the roads.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Motorists on the A1 southbound at Haddington should proceed with caution due to debris on the road. Diversions are in place on the M4 westbound at junction 40 Tieback due to electrical surveys which have closed the exit slip. In Cambridgeshire, all lanes are shut on the M11 southbound entry slip at junction 12 following an accident where a vehicle crossed the central reservation. Travel conditions are anticipated to stabilise by around 11:30 this morning. On the M25 in Surrey, clockwise traffic faces 50 minutes of delay between junctions 5 and 6. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and East Midlands Railway report disruptions to and from Liverpool Lime Street. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Do stay with us. Still to come, we're going to be finding out
a lot. We're going to be finding out 2-1 the match between Liverpool and Newcastle last night, and exactly what record that 16-year-old has just broken for Liverpool. This is GB News Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here
We do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Paul's got the latest. What's happening in sport, Paul?
Rio Ngumoa, 16 years old, plays for Liverpool, scores the winner against Newcastle. 16 years old. It's unbelievable. You know, we had 15-year-old Max Dowman playing for Arsenal just the other day.
Yeah.
And now 16-year-old scores for Liverpool. It really was a heck of a game, but they always are, Liverpool against Newcastle. So Liverpool then... maximum points, go to St James's Park, although there was the sending off which happened as well, so that wasn't so good, which didn't help Newcastle in the slightest. Carabao Cup is tonight, there's 19 games going on there, but I do want to mention the US Open, the thing that everybody is talking about, and it's not necessarily the tennis, Ellie, is it?
Medvedev and his racket.
That's the other thing.
Oh, Carlos Alcaraz's hair, or lack thereof.
Exactly. Let's have a look. So Carlos Alcaraz played yesterday. Well, it was last night. It was only a few hours ago, playing in the US Open. There we are. There's the new hair.
I'm not sold on it, I won't lie.
Yeah, beat Riley Opelka.
But in the heat out there at the moment, Paul, that would be a bit of an advantage.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right. So that's it. So after the match. So just have a look at this, and he's got a lovely golf swing. Now, watch carefully. A swing there from Carlos Alcaraz. We'll see. Not bad. The reason he did that, we will see who is in the audience, who he's paying tribute to, and I think you can guess who it is. Look into the crowd. Rory McIlroy is there. That was for Rory. Now, this is him talking about his haircut.
Episode.
People, you know, if they like the new haircut or not. Did you like it, guys? I think they like it.
I think they like it.
It's a great tribute to Rory and to his hairdresser. The crowd enjoyed it.
Rory's the most approachable fella you'll get. I told you about my brother doing his carpets. In his apartment that he has. I mean, the place is, all over the place, won't he? He's a place in Hollywood in Northern Ireland. But he's if you meet Rory, he talks to you. He's very accessible, very good, very nice fella.
But when the carpet was done, though, did he make sure it was flat by holding his putter up, just to make sure that there was no...
Oh, my brother's very, very particular.
Yeah, so there was no undulations in that?
Yeah, my father was, expert in all those things, and Brian inherited from him.
Excellent.
What about Rio Ferdinand? And there's a good headline there, Rio's Dubai to the UK. So he's taking the whole family and they're going to live out in Dubai.
Yeah, well, he quit, didn't he, TNT? So this has obviously been planned for a while. So there he is. He's obviously going to be doing football over there, isn't he? Don't you think?
There's lots of football based there now, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. There's huge coverage of over there. That's surely what's going to be. It's been too hot for me this time of year, though, wouldn't it?
They've got aircon, Coity.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Eamonn, you interested?
Well, I'm interested in the aircon, but as you're quite rightly say, to go out in temperatures of 50 degrees, there's not much you can do during the summer months.
I was offered a job actually over there. I didn't.
Would be tax-free.
Yeah, didn't fancy it. No, a bit too. Yeah, didn't really fancy it.
We might be susceptible if they're uproot GB News and place it in Dubai.
Have a Dubai bureau.
That could be
We're
the one.
going to pitch it to the bosses.
I'm waiting for the Maldives Bureau.
OK.
So when that's ready. No.
Now, that is a good idea.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. The show Clarkson's Farm is having an unexpected impact on college applications, would you believe? Suzanne Evans and Scarlett Maguire will tell you why when they're here with what's making them talk in the newspapers next.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hello. Well, there's plenty of sunny spells across Europe, but also some widespread thunderstorms developing. So across much of Madeira and the Canary Islands, a few showers here and breezy. Across Spain, fine with plenty of sunshine. But here are those thunderstorms with the risk of hail and lightning. Across Greece, much of the country seeing plenty of sunshine here. And as we go through the week, there'll still be some showers around, but also plenty of sunshine still, and temperatures up to 33.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the
unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain's Newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
Ministers are preparing the biggest shake-up of driving rules for 2 decades, and drivers over the age of 70 would be banned from the roads if they fail compulsory eye tests.
Changes are expected to be included in a new road safety strategy document to be published in the autumn.
And we found this short clip of your driving test, Andrew.
The way he's taking that corner is going down on record, and it'll be one of the things on which his driving ability will be assessed.
How rude.
Well, actually, it's quite funny, actually. I passed my driving test in a pea green Volkswagen Beetle.
Wow.
I did.
What?
Second time.
I've passed 3rd time, so...
Third? Yeah. But in those days, I mean, the road safety test was literally the driving instructor fired 5 or 6 questions at you at the end.
Yeah.
That was it.
As long as you hadn't crashed, you were through.
Yeah, you were through.
So, those were the days.
They were. But let's talk to the motoring journalist, Quentin Wilson, who's very well known to this programme.
It was always a 2 wheels good, 4 wheels bad mantra, and only now are they beginning to see that the electorate is really worried about not just the condition of our roads, but the people driving on them and their skills as well. So this idea that we've got to have driving a sight test for people over 70. Why would you not do this? I mean, it's blindly, if you'll pardon the pun, simple. You really people who can't see in a car from driving, and anybody who objects to that is really, really sort of selfish. Then you've got to look at driving standards. You know, I've been campaigning for kids to be taught at school hazard perception and things like that, and just increase the ability, the skills of our driving population, because you see all these stats now, and they're going up and up and up.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Talk about that? Just getting reports coming in. An Air China plane that took off from London Heathrow has made an unscheduled landing in Siberia. This is engine trouble. Flight trackers show that the Boeing 777, which was carrying 265 people, landed in the west of Russia whilst en route to Beijing.
Well, Air China has reportedly decided to send a reserve plane to collect the 250 passengers and 15 crew and take them to Beijing. Keep you on top of that throughout the programme this morning.
OK, Scarlett and Suzanne continue with the newspapers now. And Scarlett, you want to talk about peers in the House of Lords sacked if they fail to turn up for work.
Well, I think this is a great idea, actually. I think it is completely ridiculous that the House of Lords is second only to China in having the most people in an assembly. And actually, what they're trying to do is they're trying to lower to get the numbers down. So first of all, they've said that anybody over 80 will be stood down, but more importantly, actually, because there are people over 80 and even over 90 who are actually working very hard, is that there are quite a few people in the Lords who do nothing. Absolutely do nothing. They take the lordship and that's it. And they might turn up for the odd vote if they're whipped by either the Tories or the Labour people. But actually, these people they should not be allowed in.
There wouldn't be room for them all if they did turn up.
I know. Well, this is why they've got to go. Is that we've got
this is why they've got to stand.
We've got to be
stop
sensible.
handing out peerships.
No. Well, the first thing we do is we make sure that it works. So I think. I mean, or you could say we're not going to have any more peerships for sort of 10 years. But that's a silly way of doing it because you always want to refresh. But actually, you can't just wait for people to die. You have to say you're not doing the work. I mean, look, Alistair Darling, when he discovered that he had terminal prostate cancer, he stood down. That's what we need, we need people saying, I'm not going to do any more work. It's over. It's time that I stood down.
Yeah. You see, I've got no problem with House of Lords members not turning up. What I really object to is that 15 of them turned up, took £500,000 between them.
Precisely.
So if you don't turn up, you don't get paid. But if you do turn up, you can take the money and then go home.
You sign your register and you go home.
All you have to do is you have to walk through the door and you get £350. I mean, you're absolutely right, Suzanne.
But the thing about the over 80s, there's this sort of idea that this is a cynical move by Labour because most of the ones over or 80 or heading that way are Conservative peers. So it's like the argument is Labour are actually just trying to rig the numbers really and get rid of Conservatives in the House of Lords. But when I worked in Parliament, I used to walk from Portcullis House to the other end to Blackrod's Gate. And the one thing that always made me chuckle, given that then I think the average age of a peer was about 76, it's 71 now, was the sign saying peers motorcycle parking only. This idea of all these elderly peers sitting in on their motorbikes. That's great. Always used to make me chuckle.
Suzanne, let's stay with you, shall we?
Well, hold on. I just want to say, if you want to make me a peer, and I'm not far from it, I mean, I would turn up. I would do the job.
Yeah, and you'd be good, actually, to be fair. Too. Yeah. You're listening this morning. Suzanne, let's have a look at Clarkson's Farm. Fantastic programme.
Oh, I love it. I'm such a fan. I drove through Chipping Norton yesterday and got all excited just driving through and thinking about it. I love it. And the good news is, I've been saying for a long time, I think Clarkson's Farm has done so much for farming.
Wonders.
Really opened
industry.
People's eyes to just how tough it is, how difficult it is, how expensive it is. And it seems it really is having an effect. So this is a story in the Times this morning showing that applications to agricultural colleges have risen significantly since the programme has been aired. And in particular, it's like Cheerful Charlie's job that seems to be influencing people. Yeah. So one college, the Royal Agricultural College in Cirencester, has seen an 11% increase in applications for land management courses, an 18% increase in land management courses with a farm placement. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, and one in the eye for
Charlie's job is to show him what he can grow, what the taxes he's going to pay, and that
all the rules,
yield return is, all the technical stuff that you don't really want to be bothered with. So that is amazing.
You know what? That's hopeful news as well, because the good thing about Clarkson's Farm is it shows the realities and actually how difficult the day-to-day job is.
Well, actually, to the point that ITV tried to create a similar sort of thing with Noel Edmonds. Over 3 programmes, Noel Edmonds has moved to New Zealand. And the Noel Edmonds programme was very good, but it lacked the reality of Clarkson, where you see him pulling out his hair or sitting at a desk crying or whatever it happens to be. There was no real pain in the Noel Edmonds stuff, and it's not been recommissioned, I noticed, and you know, maybe that's why.
It's a magic formula. The characters in Clarkson's
It is the characters.
Every single one of them are just magic and adorable. They're so good.
It's educational as well. I've learnt so much about farming. And the
Well, I
realities
learned
of
so much
farming.
about pubs. We went to buy a pub and there were 50 pubs for sale in the area. Nobody's making a living at pubs. And again, you know, I think the Chancellor should take this on board. This is just not an accident that there are 50 pubs in the Cotswolds which are up for sale.
Absolutely.
But it shines a light, doesn't it, on those industries that are struggling. And it's a very good programme.
Yeah. But the thing about pubs is this is been ages and ages. I mean, if you go on walks, you think you're going to go to a pub and actually it's closed. I mean, this has been going on for years, and it's a real shame, because actually the local pub is fantastic. It's great for the community, and it also pulls in tourists.
Scarlett, let's have a look at chatbot friends in the Daily Mail this morning.
This is really frightening. Is that people think that chatbots who they chatter to are so lifelike that they think they're friends. I mean, we had the case of a man who broke into Windsor Castle, and his defence was that he'd spoken to his chatbot friend who agreed that it was a good idea to do it. So this person thought it was I mean, obviously there were mental health problems, right? But actually, people who need friendships don't need a chatbot friend. They need a chatbot friend to help them make friends with real people. And the problem is that people who have problems with friendships can find it easier to have their chatbot friend who's always there, who's always going to be quite nice, who probably always agrees with them, rather than a real person. And what the article is saying is that we have to change it.
I think AI ultimately is only as good as the people who are programming it. And, you know, you can ask AI a question and you'll get a response based on what's been inputted. You know, I think I read somewhere the other day that somebody had asked, is there any scandal surrounding Sir Keir Starmer? And he came back and said no, which of course is not true, because there's plenty of scandal and intrigue and all the rest of it. And I think I also read there's a move in the dating world to get back to dating in real life as opposed to using apps for dating.
IRL, as it's called.
Yes.
I don't know about this.
Very good.
But I think people realise that actually that human connection is something that really can't be replaced. And we need more of that, not less of it. And if the dating world is beginning to switch, very often these things are a harbinger of what's to come. Maybe the chatbot. There was a big rout on the tech stocks last week, wasn't there? Because they were saying that all this billions that tech companies had invested in AI is probably not going to be as fruitful as they hoped originally.
Gosh.
OK. Thanks for the thought. Thank you both very much indeed for your contributions today. Very much appreciated. Come back and see us again.
Thank you, ladies.
Sometimes Scarlett and Suzanne.
Yeah, let us know what you think on any of those stories that we've been discussing this morning. gbnews.com/Your Say. We'll try and reflect them as much as we can in the last half an hour of the programme. Should we get a check on the weather? Because it was a lovely day yesterday.
Good morning, Catherine Chalk.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times, with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touch down overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Currently on the M4 westbound near junction 40 Tyebach, the exit slip road is closed for electrical work, with diversions in place. In Staffordshire, congestion on the M6 southbound between junction 11 and junction 10A is causing 10-minute delays against expected traffic. In Cambridgeshire, the M11 southbound entry slip at junction 12 is closed due to a vehicle crossing the central reservation, expected to resolve by noon today. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and East Midlands Railway are experiencing disruptions to and from Liverpool Lime Street, with additional issues between Luton and Bedford. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Nigel Farage will unveil that his party could end the small boats crisis.
Well, after GB News exclusively revealed 900 migrants illegally crossed the Channel over the long weekend.
And this morning, a further 3 boats are crossing the Channel as we speak.
And that's a shocker because actually it's really bad weather in the Channel. It just shows that these people smugglers care not a jot for those who are on board their small boats.
Have you noticed a hike in supermarket prices over the summer? Food inflation peaks as families feel the pinch at the checkout.
The Duchess of Sussex's latest Netflix series is already making headlines as Meghan Markle has revealed what she misses most about the UK.
Of these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
It's turning more changeable this week with rain or heavy showers, but not for everyone. I'll have all the details coming up shortly.
What's the time at 9:01? A very good morning to you. You're very welcome to the show. With you until 9:30. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
So Mark White with us in the studio to talk about those 3 boats crossing the channel in what you point out is very bad weather, Mark.
Yes, I mean, it just shows, I think, how, you know, even in the worst of weather now, you're still getting crossings. Having said that, though, we went through a period, I'm going to contradict myself, of about a week where nothing crossed because it was, I mean, really, really rough in the channel. And these boats, they're flimsy, they're long. When you've got 80 people on board, which was the average for those crossing yesterday, it doesn't take much of a wave to buckle and, you know, disintegrate and start sinking.
Yeah, Mark, we're noticing a difference in the newspapers today. The Times and the
Telegraph.
The Telegraph, both showing pictures of children on board in relation to the boats. Now, that's a distinct change of emphasis, bearing in mind, as we all know, the boats mostly now have been single males on them.
It's certainly a change of emphasis in the way that these papers have chosen to portray it.
Yeah.
You get occasional boats that come across. It's called Family Day, where one of the boats...
Really?
Yeah, one of the boats will have a significant number of women and children on board. But the fact is, the vast majority of those crossing the channel, last count, it was about 87% are males. But you will always probably, even on normal boats that come across, get maybe 1 or 2 women and children. That's because of the cynical way that the people smugglers operate, because they dial 999 on the mobile phone that they're about to throw over the edge into the water to call the Coast Guard, and they tell them there are women and children on board, guaranteed to get a swift response from the Maritime Rescue Services. So that's what that's about. Yes, some come across. We can't deny that. You can see the pictures there. But let's not lose sight of the fact that the vast, vast majority of those crossing the channel are male, and mainly young males.
Can I ask you, Mark, whilst we've got you, about this breaking news this morning about this new Palestinian action group?
Yeah, this is Palestine Martyrs for Justice, they call themselves, who have carried out direct action, an attack effectively on an aircraft components factory in Wolverhampton, the Moog factory. You can see the images there. They smashed through the main gates there using vehicles, vans, smashed through the main gates. They've gone onto the roof of this building, and they're using various tools to try and, they said, put this factory out of commission, you know, badly damaging the roof, etc. We're told that activists from these groups, they're wearing T-shirts with a picture of someone who's died in the conflict in Gaza on the front of those T-shirts. You can see them there, climbing up onto the roof of that building. And we're told that at this hour, having carried out this direct action attack effectively on this factory in the early hours of this morning, they're still up there. And, you know, when they eventually come down, could face significant prosecution. Remember, of course, that another activist group, Palestine Action, was prescribed as a terrorist organisation.
After the airfield.
Exactly, because at Bryce Norton they broke in and they vandalised, causing many millions of pounds worth of damage to tanker aircraft there.
Well, Mark, thanks for bringing us up to date, and we'll keep you up to date watching and listening at home as that story progresses. We're going to cross to Westminster now. We're going to speak to the Minister for Housing and Planning. We say hello, good morning, and welcome to Matthew Pennycook. Matthew, I have to say, first of all, that's a heck of a job you're doing. I wouldn't like the task that you've got, but you're making some progress in getting these houses built.
Well, we are making progress, Eamonn, as you rightly recognise. You know we are overhauling our planning system. We're also making significant investment in land, in infrastructure and in social and affordable housing. We allocated 39 billion to social and affordable housing in the spending review. But one of the fastest ways to boost housing supply in the short term is to target support on those large developments across the country, and there are many of them, that have planning permission, but which for various reasons have stalled or are simply not building out as fast as they could be, and get that support in place so that we can unlock and accelerate those sites. And that's precisely what our New Homes Accelerator has been doing over the past 12 months. As a result, we estimate that it's unlocked nearly 100,000 homes on consented or near consented sites. And today we're announcing 6 new large sites in Guildford, Aylesbury, Wigan, Somerset and 2 London boroughs, which will receive support through the accelerator, and we think that will unlock another 12,000 or so homes, making a contribution to our ambitious plan for change target of building those 1.5 million new homes in this
I live near Guildford, Matthew. I'm just really interested. I think you're using an airfield in Guildford. What type of housing are these? Social? Is this social housing, or what type of housing is this?
So there'll be a mix of housing on all of the sites that we are targeting for support. That will include private market homes for sale, but also affordable homes of different types of tenures. We expect to see a minimum of 25% affordable housing on sites across the programme, but it will depend on a case-by-case basis of what's been agreed in the planning permission on that site. But what we're doing through the accelerator, often through technical and specialist support, targeted planning, capability and capacity support, is getting these sites moving far, far quicker than they were. I was in a site, for example, in Cambridgeshire last week, Northstowe, where a collaboration agreement between our Housing and Regeneration Agency, Homes England, and 2 developers is seeing the second phase of that master plan built out at a faster speed, and people are moving in either through renting or through buying those homes that are being built at a faster pace. So as I say, we're unlocking these homes across the country, and it's making a contribution to that ambitious 1.5 million new homes target.
Mr Pennycook, as Housing Minister, you've spoken at length about the negative impacts of second homes and second home ownership, and also the lack of affordable homes for local British people. Is it a good look then for Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, to have 3 properties? Some of the papers are dubbing her as 3 pads Rayner in the past couple of days, when you've got so many people struggling to get on the housing ladder.
Well, let's be very clear about what we have said when it comes to second homes and short-term lets, because we have drawn attention to the negative impacts that can arise from excessive concentrations of those tenures. And that's why we're giving local authorities across the country the powers they need, and we're exploring more powers that have been put into force today, that they need to manage this problem. But what we're not saying is that people can't own second homes across the country. And the Deputy Prime Minister, in the case of that property in Brighton, where a council tax premium is in place, put in place by the local authority, the Deputy Prime Minister will of course comply. So I don't respectfully think there is a story here, other than the fact that Angela Rayner clearly lives rent-free in the minds of the shadow cabinet.
Matthew, there is a story for the Daily Mail and Co. It's a sexist story, it's a classist story. Today they're printing a picture of Angela Rayner's house in Manchester, which is a dangerous story to do that, and her house in, where is it? Hove as well. And I think it's despicable the way the press have handled this. I just wanted to say that. Don't expect you to comment. Right, we're talking about
I'm glad you do say that, Eamonn, because I'm glad you did say that, because when you actually look at what the Deputy Prime Minister has done, she's complied by the rules in all cases. Her primary residence for council tax purposes is her home in her constituency, which she obviously visits. She's got a second home, which she pays the council tax premium on. And she's got a accommodation in London that's made available, as it has been under successive governments, to senior government ministers. And I really don't think there is a story here.
Can I ask you about this breaking news that we've heard in the past few minutes? I'm not sure if you caught the tail end of it there with our Home Security Editor, Mark White, talking about the Palestinian Martyrs for Justice. They appear to be a direct action group. They're currently, we believe, occupying the roof of a weapons factory in Wolverhampton. This is to protest the war in Gaza. What do you have to say about that situation?
I'm afraid I'm not aware of that breaking story or the details of it, so I wouldn't like to comment in any great detail. Of course, if an organisation crosses the threshold between merely criminal activity into terrorist activity, the government will review whether it should be prescribed or not, as is the case of Palestine Action.
OK, we're expecting to hear from Nigel Farage later on this morning, his plans to tackle illegal migration. He's going to talk about leaving the ECHR. Very interested that Lord Blunkett was talking about suspending the ECHR in the past couple of days. Labour MPs, Grandees alike, calling to suspend or leave the ECHR as well. Is this a serious option that the Labour Party is now going to look at? Because clearly your plan for illegal migration is not working. We've had 900 channel crossings over the weekend.
Well, I'd say two things in response to that question. First, our plan is working. It is showing tangible signs of working.
Well, there's 3 boats in the channel as we speak.
35,000 individuals. Yeah, and boat crossings are up. The gang's business model is entrenched. We've been very honest about the fact that we were never going to fix the broken immigration and asylum system we inherited overnight, but we are making tangible progress in terms of deporting people with no right to be here. This ambitious pilot scheme we've got in place with France now. Asylum seekers have been detained under it. We'll see removals to France in the coming week. But when it comes to the ECHR, we don't think it's in our national interest to withdraw completely, put ourselves in the same camp as 2 other countries, Russia and Belarus. But that is not to say that we don't think the convention needs reform. We're making the case for reform in Europe. The Justice Secretary was at the Council of Europe in June doing just that. And we are looking about how the convention is implemented domestically in the case of Article 8 and how that can be abused to frustrate our laws. So it's not a case that we're saying the reform, the convention needs to remain untouched, but we don't think it's in our national interest to withdraw or suspend it, not least because it underpins a series of incredibly important agreements, including the Good Friday Agreement.
Well, Matthew Pennycook, thank you for your thoughts this morning. We appreciate your time. We've got to leave it there. Matthew Pennycook is our Housing Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, at 13 minutes past 9, do stay with us. Still to come, food inflation is running at an 18-month high. Have you noticed a difference in the prices at the checkout? I'm sure you have. We're going to be getting some tips on how you can bag a supermarket bargain next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around, a nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
We were talking about electric cars earlier, weren't
Yeah.
we? And the pros and cons of owning one. Kirsty's been in touch, morning to you, Kirsty, saying, I asked my local authority about getting a charging point at my house for my electric vehicle. I was told no, because I only have on-street parking. I then said, can I have a drive put in? I was told no, it would spoil the look of the property. So now my nearest charging point in any direction is a 24-minute drive. I live in Glasgow.
Don't have an electric car then.
Wow.
And it'll be expensive for you as well, we have to say, using the
public
non-domestic-
charges.
The public charge, the very thing. That's what you've got to get. You've got to get a domestic
I need to get
charger,
one, a domestic charger, yeah. I plugged it into the mains at the weekend. We just got an electric vehicle last week. Don't know how I feel about it yet, but it takes 10 hours to charge it on the mains, which is too long, isn't it? Who's got 10 hours?
Who's got it, exactly.
Yeah.
Final week to see how you could live the next year mortgage or rent-free with an additional £5,000 in your bank account if you don't have those payments to make.
There's just 3 days to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. Hurry, lines close this Friday. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Often talk on the programme about food prices, and food prices are rising at the fastest level in 18 months. The cost of everyday items, we're talking chocolate, we're talking butter, we're talking eggs, all on the up.
Yeah, all the good things as well. Well, figures from the British Retail Consortium show that food inflation jumped to 4.2% this month. That's the highest since February last year. But that's not the end of the news, is it?
No, experts are also warning that food and drink inflation could climb even higher, possibly reaching 6% by Christmas.
Well, joining us now with more is founder of Moneybeam, Salim Shafi. Really good to see you this morning, Salim. And We want to try and offer some practical advice to people who are seeing the prices surge in the supermarkets. Their baskets are getting more expensive every single week. Can you still get a bargain in the supermarkets, and if so, how?
Gosh, it's really hard at the moment, isn't it? Every time you go into the supermarket, particularly meat and fish and bread and butter is just going skyrocketing. So how can you get a good deal? I think one of the things you can do, now this is maybe not so easy, get your calculator out, because what a lot of supermarkets do is they'll see pricing in grams, like 100 grams or a kilogram. And if you're okay with it, just check out the price per 100 grams or the price per kilogram, because sometimes then you've got these 2-for-1 offers and it looks really good, nicely packaged, all the nice colours, the sort of yellows and reds and blacks around it to attract our eyes to it. They're doing some sort of almost little marketing with us, sort of again, trying to get deep into our brain. So actually catch and pause yourself and say, actually, per 100 grams, am I getting value for money? So that's one thing you can do. Obviously, other things can do is kind of like, if it's okay, go shopping once a week or once a month if you can. Get your staples in, get your main things in. The other thing is going shopping maybe as a group, if you can do that. Maybe people who you share shopping with, that might be another way to do this. But it's really, really difficult at the moment to find a bargain. If you are going to go towards the end of the day, you might find that things towards the end of the day, they're discounting them quite heavily just to get them off the shelf. But it really is hard nowadays to find a really good bargain in the supermarket and to feel good about your shopping.
Well, I feel angry about this, Salim. I feel angry about this because when you look at Tesco's profits, for instance, they're not millions of pounds. They're billions of pounds that they have. Surely they can afford to hand some of that back.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Especially when they're squeezing their suppliers very, very heavily.
Yeah.
They're in business to make a profit. What I would like to see the supermarkets doing is, particularly when they've taken over all those sort of small shops, corner shops from the 70s and 80s that we all used to love, they've taken them over now and got these local shops, is put the lower priced non-branded items in those shops rather than the heavily branded items that we all love our brands, but they actually cost us an arm and a leg. I remember somebody saying to me, a brand is a shortcut to reward. So they put a premium on brands. So what about putting non-branded items in some of the local supermarkets? That would make a big difference to people, particularly who find it hard to access supermarkets and actually really, really struggling to get by.
I mean, the difficulty is, Celine, with food inflation is there's no escaping it. Everybody needs to eat and everybody needs to go to the shops and pick up their basics, and it's the basics that are getting more and more expensive as the weeks go on. And then add on top of that all the other inflation that people are already subjected to. I mean, the cost of fuel, the cost of energy.
Absolutely. If I can share a stat with you, just so you might not be aware of this, winter 2022, 39%, just over a third of the British working population was struggling to pay at least one main bill by the end of the month. In other words, they're really struggling. By winter 2024, that's just over half the British population struggling. And now we've got more doom and gloom with food prices going up, and they're going to go up again towards the end of the year. And we've seen, a 37% increase in food prices in the last 5 years.
Oh, it's an expensive Christmas. It really is. Salim, thanks for the advice. Really appreciate it. We've got to leave it there. We're out of time. Thank you very much indeed. Beverly and Andrew to take us up to 9:30.
Morning.
Nice to be back with Beverly.
So nice to see you both together. We've missed
and goodbye. Hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye. This is my last Britain's Newsroom today. I'm jetting off to America on Friday to launch our new America show, which is going to be on late nights on TV.
So exciting.
So there's going to be a bureau. You're going to be hosting all of this, and you're going to be our big glam star in America. Yeah.
Apparently.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We've got an important job to do. I think everybody here is now watching the Trump administration and realising the successes that they're having and thinking, can we have a little bit of that, please?
Yeah.
So I will be there talking to people in America.
It's an amazing time to be in America.
Yeah. Such an exciting time.
It is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or hate him, Trump is setting so many agendas. He's an extraordinary figure, isn't he?
Yeah, he is extraordinary.
And
of course, I got to meet him a few weeks ago when I was in Scotland, went on Air Force One. We'll be talking a little bit about that on the show.
I think he liked
Amazing.
I think he liked him.
I have to say, I really liked him.
Yeah, well, good.
He's very different.
He really liked you. That's what we want.
Well, we can talk about that, can't we, between now and midday? We've got quite a lot of gossiping, a lot of catching up to do, Andrew, and I've not seen him for a few weeks.
We've got a bit of variety.
Have a good time, Beverly.
And we've got some weather.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be more changeable as we go through this week. Showers focused in the west, but still dry and warm in the southeast today. So we do have a band of rain across the east of Scotland into northern England and the southeast, but it will generally start fragmenting, leaving just a legacy of cloud. And in fact, it's actually going to be turning much drier and brighter across the southeast of England as we go through the afternoon. But behind that, it's a case of sunny spells, scattered showers, feeling cooler than on Monday, especially in the west, but across the east, highs of 26 degrees. So through the rest of this evening, then we still hold on showers, especially across western parts of Scotland. Could still be heavy at times, with any late evening sunny spells across the east. Similar picture across Northern Ireland, with scattered showers here to end the day. Otherwise, for many places across northern England into Wales and the southwest, it is generally largely dry. Just a few showers around, always driest for the longest across the southeast, leaving a largely fine end to the day. Now, as we go through Tuesday night, again, a few showers across Scotland, but another system approaching from the southwest, and this will start pushing in during the early hours into Northern Ireland. But otherwise, temperatures just a touchdown overnight as we start Wednesday morning, around 13 to 15 degrees. So to start Wednesday morning, there's going to be some outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland. This band of rain could be heavy with some thunder and flashes of lightning and hail, and that moves into parts of Wales, the southwest England, into western Scotland and northern parts of England. Again, a few showers across the southeast, but largely dry here. For all of us, temperatures are going to be around average, especially across the southeast now, at highs of 20.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Traffic on the M4 westbound near junction 40 tieback is affected due to electrical work, with diversions in place. In Durham, a collision on the A66 eastbound between the A67 and the A1M has closed all lanes. In Cambridgeshire, the M11 southbound entry slip at junction 12 is shut due to an accident. In Southampton, the M27 westbound between junction 7 and 5 is delayed due to a broken down vehicle with one lane closed. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and cross-country services are disrupted, affecting Liverpool Lime Street and services between Leeds, Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Sunday with Michael Portillo. A bridge between Italy and Sicily was envisaged by the Romans. But just this week, the Italian government has approved the €13.5 billion project. There remain concerns that the money intended for the project could be siphoned off by the Cosa Nostra. Joining us now live from Rome is historian Alexander Mariotti. Alexander, it's absolutely great to see you. Tell me about the Roman plan. How did they intend to get across from the mainland to Sicily?
Well, it seems that, according to the sources, they were successful in 250 BC during the Sicilian Wars. But it was a pontoon bridge. It was a temporary bridge. And the purpose was to transport war elephants across for the Romans. Now, temporary bridges, all really they could have done. And in fact, the fact that there's no bridge today speaks to the difficulty of actually constructing it for a couple of reasons. One of the main ones is just the gale force winds that happen to pass through the Straits of Messina, not to mention that there's an incredible amount of seismic activity that took place. So even the great engineers of the Romans who were able to build the Colosseum did not foresee a feasible bridge that could connect the two pieces of land.
Mm. Now, the seismic risk, yes, indeed. I mean, Messina was devastated in an earthquake. If I recall, at the beginning of the 20th century, you must put me right. But do we think we've dealt with the seismic risk?
Well, you're absolutely correct. The 1908 earthquake was absolutely devastating. First of all, it killed between 70 to 85,000 people, not to mention the tsunamis that it created. So there is that risk. Now, in fairness, there's bridges in Japan that are completely adept to dealing with the seismic activity. So the engineers themselves on this project are fairly confident that that's not going to be an issue.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good morning, it's 9:30 on Tuesday the 26th of August, live across the UK, Britain's News with Andrew Pearce. And look who, Bev Turner.
Good morning, it's lovely to be back. Now, ready to return. The UK is set to deport 100 illegal migrants back to France. It all seems insignificant though, doesn't it? 100 when 900 people crossed the Channel this weekend alone.
And they're crossing in terrible conditions. And we can confirm that about 100 have been earmarked for return to France, compared to 3,600 who've entered the country.
It's not funny, is it really? But honestly, deport and detain. This morning, Nigel Farage was set out how Reform UK would implement mass deportations of people crossing our channel illegally.
So those people are having a lovely time, but the carnival arrests at Notting Hill rose. 423 arrests over the weekend. Apparently live facial recognition helped with 50 of those arrests. But more madness like this took place. Hey Joe, that was a man shaking a tree.
Supermarket price hike. Food inflation has soared to 4.2%, the highest for 18 months. Families are feeling the pinch at the checkout.
And are children racist? Kids as young as 4, that is 4 years old, are being sent home from school for racist behaviour. You will not believe how many of them have been sent home for that.
And those flag wars, Brits are proudly displaying flags across the UK, but take a look at these 3 women in North Yorkshire, shamefully tearing down the flag of St George, and they're stamping on it. Idiots.
You do wonder what she thought she was doing, stamping on a flag like that. Like,
absolute idiots. She probably knows nothing about the history of the flag.
Oh, you've got some music there for me this morning, have you? This is nice. Is this? I think there might be a few surprises throughout the show this morning.
It's not the Last Waltz or the National Anthem, but it's the American. You're going to have to get used to it. You have to learn the words.
I don't even know all the words to the British national anthem.
What most people don't. They know the first verse. Actually a lot.
I don't think I'll be on call to sing it anywhere, but I will obviously be hearing it a bit more. I'm off to Washington, D.C. this Friday. We'll be launching the show in the next couple of weeks. We'll tell you all about it. So there might be a little bit of an American theme to some of our chats.
I think there should be.
Yeah, there will be. Right, gbnews.com/your say to let us know your thoughts this morning. 60-second news now with Sam.
Very good morning to you from the newsroom. The top story this hour, Nigel Farage is set to unveil his plan to tackle illegal migration, calling it a national emergency. He wants to scrap parts of international law